I do not. So the person name not made public was identified as the ship's second officer. According to the BBC, quote, 5 meters further south, it would have entered the bedroom of homeowner Johan Helberg. Helberg had been sleeping when the roughly 440-foot vessel collided into his backyard around 5 a.m. local time.
So the ship captain fell asleep. I would have guessed that ships of this size have some sort of like GPS navigation, that we're not depending on the captain to hold the big wheel like we're on a steamboat in the 1850s. I mean, wouldn't you think this would be impossible to happen on a ship?
Well, the navigator did testify that he, quote, fell asleep prior to the incident. The prosecutor said, quote, it does happen, but it's not something that should happen. We've got regulations that are supposed to create barriers and prevent ships from running aground because someone falls asleep.
That's exactly what I'm saying, yeah.
I know this is a real image. It just doesn't make sense to me that at some point it's going to be shallow enough that it should be.
The fact it got that far on land, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, because I was on a cruise that started bottoming out around the Mobile Bay, and like everything was jerking, and glasses and things were falling off tables.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to shoot holes in every story we're doing today, but it sounds like the boat company made up a very convenient excuse.
Yeah, probably.
He was not drunk on vodka.
No, he fell asleep.
He was
clearly.
asleep.
I can only hope that we've got pictures for this next story. A man in Polk County shot and killed by deputies on Monday after they say he was armed with garden shears and acting erratically after surviving an apparent gator attack.
This is a Florida man here, right?
Yes.
All right,
County Sheriff's Office deputies began searching for Timothy Schultz, 42 years old, just before 6 a.m. after a convenience store clerk reported he was acting, quote, bizarre. Now, deputies spent about 40 minutes looking for the man. Schultz began swimming in an alligator-infested lake nearby, residents told officials. A witness tried to throw Schultz a life preserver, and another witness said Schultz growled at them when they tried to help. Witnesses told deputies an alligator was spotted close to him as he swam across the lake. When Schultz emerged from the lake, he had an apparent alligator bite, began walking between houses, holding the pair of garden shears. He then used a brick to attempt to break into a resident's truck. Witness told detectives they saw the suspect run at deputies with the shears. He was tased twice, didn't stop. That's when he climbed into the passenger side of a patrol vehicle trying to get a deputy's rifle. 2 deputies identified as a trainee and his trainer opened fire on the suspect, killing him. Boy, I tell you what, if you're a trainee...
Yeah. That's a tough way, first day on the job.
It's like being your first day at the pit.
Yeah. How did it go? I shot and killed a man.
Killed a man already. I didn't think we'd do that day one.
Judge said Schultz had a lengthy criminal history that included several arrests for methamphetamine.
Boy, Florida man never disappoints.
Never.
It's a new story every time with them, too. It's not like the same old, same old.
You know, the only thing worse about flying would be flying standing up.
Like a subway, but you have to stand up?
Money-saving move that is sure to divide many holiday makers, but several budget airlines reportedly set to introduce standing-only seating options. According to Instagram account at Entrepreneurship, quote, which has 2.8 million followers, the bike-style padded seats, which allow passengers to lean at an angle without completely sitting down, could be introduced as early as 2026. Now, these seats, which are being introduced by manufacturers Avon Interiors, will increase passenger capacity by 20%.
Quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of NextRoundLive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President. Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live Thursday show now as we get going. We'll get to SEC meeting news coming up from Destin. A ton of stuff coming out of there, including the wish for an annual Big Ten SEC weekend of games on a variety of different levels that's being talked about. We'll also talk to Daniel Jeremiah about the NFL. Browns OTAs already very interesting in the quarterback room. Daniel joins us at 11 Central. If you love bourbon, we'll talk bourbon with you in the 11 o'clock hour as well. But we start the show off with two returnees to college basketball in our state that made national news. One we expected to happen. The other was a shocker right before the deadline for Alabama last night. Let's start with Pettiford at Auburn and then work our way to Labaron Philon at Alabama. Pettiford coming back was expected, but still huge news for Auburn that takes them from just outside the preseason top 10 into the preseason top 10 and makes them a Final Four contender again.
You say expected, and I think it was expected maybe the last week, but when he measured out at over 6 feet, I think there were a lot of people that believed because of the measurables he might stick.
And then had that great first day. You remember that one game where he put up all the numbers?
Yeah, put up big numbers. I forgot 23, and I forgot how many assists he had.
It was the story of day one.
But, now reports are he's getting an NIL deal north of $2 million. That's big money, especially when you're not guaranteed to go in the first round. So, yeah, I agree. Pettiford, when everything started to play out, it seemed like he was going to come back. But, again, I think this guy's going to be a preseason all-SEC first-team guy.
That's the discussion we need to have. Let's go on the professional level first. If he comes back and has the kind of year he could have, he comes back for the money, but could he play his way into being a lottery pick next year? What's the lottery? For those of us that don't know, like me, I know that the first pick's a lottery pick. Is it top 15, top 10? What is that?
It is the teams that do not go to the postseason, so it is the top 14.
Top 14 teams, a lottery pick. So can Tahaad Pettiford play his way into the top 14 of the draft next year?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, if he is that electric, in 23 minutes, the guy averaged almost 12 points per game last year as a true freshman. If he can show as an undersized guard, he creates his own shot, which I don't see a problem with that. Again, he's got these measurables. Yeah, I think he could. Definitely play himself into the first round.
Lottery, first of all, I don't know what the European, stock is. You've always got to consider that when you start talking lottery, right? What's coming out of Europe.
Well, Auburn got a Serbian yesterday,
right.
too. So
yes, so they're recruiting well in Europe. The thing I think for Pettiford is now scouts, as they watch him as a 6-footer. I think scouts probably watched him and some thought there's no way this kid's 6 foot. So, I'm going to discount a lot of what he does. Or when he does something well as a scout, maybe I think, that's great, but he's 5'11", so it's probably not going to translate into the league, whatever the case might be. So I think one plus for him is now scouts watch him knowing what his actual size is. And, again, I know when people listen to this or watch this, they think it's silly that 5'11" or 6 foot is that big of a difference, but for NBA people, it is. They don't draft guys that are less than 6 foot unless they're just phenomenal players.
Yeah, and in the college game now for Auburn, they've done a great job rebuilding this roster. Can you put Tahaad Pettiford with everybody that's back in the SEC and Condon's back with, those folks down there, what Arkansas has done, Sean Miller at Texas, the Kentucky kid comes back last night, Philon's back at Alabama. Can you say Tahaad Pettiford could be the guy to beat in the SEC Player of the Year race? Is he that good on the college game this year? Could you wake up in April and say, or in March, our SEC Player of the Year is Tahaad Pettiford?
Well, the 5 guards that are going to go first in the NBA draft, because I wanted to bring this up in their size. Dylan Harper, 6'6", Ace Bailey, 6'10", Jeremiah Fears, 6'4", Trey Johnson, 6'6", Con Knipple, 6'7".
So it's almost like the NBA likes big guards.
They do, yeah. With all that said, 2 of those 5 guys are SEC guys. So those guards are out. I think Pettiford can end up being Maybe the best guard in the league.
I mean, you've got.
I think he's that good.
Fland at Florida is just interesting to watch. Condon back to Florida would be interesting to watch. Owe at Kentucky, I think, would be interesting to watch. He's back. So, I mean, I don't know that I'm ready to say Pettiford will be the guy to beat. Will he factor into it? Oh, I think absolutely. But I'm not sure if Furman were to give us Vegas odds, that Pettiford would be the obvious number one in SEC Player of the Year. But then again, there isn't an obvious number one that I would say that is absolutely going to be, the guy to beat for Player of the Year.
To the other side of the state, in more shocking news, after Brownie tells us about our buddy Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys.
Yeah, you can. Listen, at some point in your life, you're probably going to need a trial attorney. You hope not, but you never know what's going to happen in life. Alexander Shunnarah is the guy you call. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com. Headquartered right here in Birmingham for more than 24 years, Shunnarah's firm has grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. And their elite trial lawyers have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living, getting you ready for this wonderful summer we're about to all have together here. Go to their website, aplanforme.com. You see it on your screen right now if you're watching on our video platform, aplanforme.com. You'll find out that Leslie and her board-certified team has no contracts, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is absolutely free. In that consultation, you'll learn about a whole menu of ways they can help you jumpstart your weight loss and maintain that weight loss, injection therapy, meal replacement. I use protein bars to supplement me. Instead of snacks, I ate those protein bars until I got to my meal. Everything's designed specifically for you. No cookie cutter plan. Check it out right now, aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Okay, right before the 11 o'clock Central, 12 midnight Eastern deadline, I get a notice from Taylor Korn, our social media director, who works even that late at night. And she's like, hey, do a video real quick. Labaron Philon is coming back to Alabama. And I'm like, I throw the nightcap back. And
you have to light your candle again?
Just like that the Christmas story.
Yeah.
Something was dancing in my rooftop. It was Labaron Philon delivering a great present to Alabama fans. Philon's coming back. The guy I thought had zero interest playing college basketball again. Zero interest. For him to come back to play at Alabama, she asked me, Taylor said, hey, how shocked are you about this? I said, on a scale of 0 to 100, with 100 being shocked, most shocked, I am 99.9. It shocks me he's back.
It shouldn't be shocking, though. I think he made a wise decision. I don't think Labaron was going to go in the first round, and I think he ultimately heard that in 29 minutes before the deadline. He decided to pull out here. He's going to make 7 figures plus. You heard 15 days ago when we had Nate Oats on the show when we were out at the Regions, he said, yeah, we've saved a spot for him.
Say that again, Lance, because when he said that, it came on a day
that was 15 days ago.
Yeah,
that's hard to believe.
Yeah,
that wasn't the shocking part.
It was.
Well, because when he said that came. We didn't have time to tell you. It had just broke while you were shaking Nate's hands. It had come across the wire that at the NBA Combine, Philon had told CBS reporters that he was all in on the draft. He was done with college basketball. And
there was no return.
That
right?
had come out, and I didn't have a chance to show you that before you asked Nate Oats the question about the roster, and Nate said, we were saving him. And I was just rolling my eyes. I was like,
but
what a waste of time. You're saving that spot for no reason at all.
No, but Philon is smart in this regard because all you need is a glimmer of hope and continue to play your hand that you're not going to come back. And all Alabama's going to do, either they're going to tap out, or if you've got one person in your camp that is like, hey, look, he's not 100% yet, then you can still negotiate on the other side. And I guarantee you those dollars just kept going up for Labaron.
But looking back, maybe it's just revisionist history in my mind, but looking back, as you now know everything that unfolded, the way Nate answered that question, told me no matter what Labaron said, he still in his mind thought that door was open.
Yeah, there's a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance. I think because Nate, I don't think Labaron said that without Nate knowing that Labaron was going to probably say that when asked. Now, he might not have known 5 minutes before we were interviewing him that Labaron was going to be asked and say that.
Yeah.
But I think Nate knew he was in that mindset. But as I look back on Nate Oats now and the way he answered that question, I think Nate knew that door is still open no matter what Labaron says.
Yeah, I would. You can go watch the entire interview with Nate Oats to see what Brown's talking about in our Coca-Cola interview series from the Regions Tradition, always on our YouTube channel there. Go check that out. To your point, I think what you're saying is Nate Oats, Coach Preston, the whole staff, they sort of knew Labaron Philon's NBA stock.
That's right. I think
their good basketball minds
Yes.
sort of knew what Labaron's stock was to NBA people, because how many times, I mean, he named 3 teams that he'd spent the summer with, so he has good NBA contacts, Nate Oats does. I think Nate Oats knew what Philon's NBA stock was, where he was going to go in the draft, and he was saving that position open just in case somebody got to Labaron and turned the light on for him and saying, Labaron, you need to come back to school. I thought it was brilliant that Oats saved the spot for him. And he made it sound like, if you remember, like we want Labaron through this whole process to know that we love him and we got a place for him here at Alabama if he needs it.
Well, Nate's always had a little fascination with the NBA. You guys tell me where he's just got his most recent assistants from.
NBA, 3 straight.
Do you think those guys maybe had a conversation with Nate and with Labaron and said, hey, look, we were just in the league. You have got an incredible skill set. You're raw, though. And the way this business works, if you're not drafted in the first round, they're not locked in on you, and you don't have a guaranteed contract. And we see, just coming from that league, your potential, and we're going to work with you on, things on your arsenal that can get better, that we need to refine to get you to the next level.
Yeah, because to your point, you can go sell Philon on, I got a staff full of assistants that know exactly what those teams are looking for. And they'll get that out of you if you want to come back here one more year. Yes, to your point, I think Nate Oats was answering that question knowing at some point Philon was going to have to look in the mirror and say, I am not guaranteed in the first round. Am I willing to play G League? Am I willing to have to go to Europe? Or do I want to go back to Alabama and make probably somewhere in the neighborhood of what, you said that
Plus over $1 million.
Yeah, over $1 million.
Yeah.
And look, here's the thing for both Pettiford and Philon. I don't think it's going to get any worse for them playing another year of college basketball.
Oh, no, not at all.
Like, worst case, I think Philon and Pettiford are right back at this same spot next year where I can come out, I could test the waters, I may or may not be first round. I think that is your absolute worst case for both those guys without some sort of serious injury.
But you'll have that insurance policy on top of that. So they take care of that.
Yeah,
hey, look,
right.
catastrophic injury, here's what we've got in place. We'll pay for this policy
because
for you.
You don't come back without that for dang sure. So, yes, I think both those guys, worst case scenario, they're right back where they were at this time next year. Best case, they play their way well up into the first round. Maybe lottery. I don't know. I don't know that either one of them will be a lottery guy, but you never know.
Yeah, I would say that neither will be.
But keep this in mind. Keep this in mind, and I don't think enough people are talking about this, is this year in college basketball, what do we lose? We lose all those bonus year COVID guys. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, the average age, other than Chad Baker-Mazara at USC, the average age of college basketball drops tremendously now. So these two guys come back, and I'm not saying the quality of basketball is going to drop a little bit in the game, but now the quality of experience is dropping a little bit in college basketball. So there's an opportunity for Pettiford with more playing time, a starter. They're going to run the offense through him at Auburn. And Philon with no Mark Sears to eat up some scoring, that those numbers can look a little different. More freedom of playing for Philon and Pettiford, that they could look more, maybe not lottery, but more entrenched in the first round as players for this upcoming year. I think the opportunity is there for both of them.
Yeah. But if you're not in the lottery, to your point, Lance, if you're not in the lottery, guess who's drafting you all of a sudden? The
Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics, New York Knicks, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Oklahoma City's got 1 billion draft picks coming up. I mean, that's that. So your worst case maybe is I go late first round, but I go to an amazing franchise and I'm making good money doing it.
And by the way, Chad Baker-Mazara is older than the average age of guys on the roster for Oklahoma City.
Yes.
25.6. I think he's older than that.
I think you're right. I think he's older than 25.6.
If Indiana finishes off the Knicks tonight, I think Chad Baker technically is older than the average age of both rosters,
both Indiana and Oak City.
Oak City.
That is believable. Back to a point you were making, with Sears gone, that's 19 points per game. You're talking about the number one offense in college basketball at 91 points per game with Alabama. I mean, there's going to be opportunities to put up a lot of numbers if you're Labaron Philon, because right now, who would that go-to guy be? It probably is Philon, right?
Well, it needs to be, and I say this with love.
I think Holloway's going to be a lot better and a lot more utilized this year.
He was one of the best outside shooters in the SEC this past season.
I say this with love and respect, and I am so glad he's back. But there were games last year that Labaron Philon disappeared in. Like you were like, where's Labaron Philon? Where's his points? What's going on? Now you had Mark Sears, you had Grant Nelson who have big games, you had Aiden who would have some big games. But there were moments that you were like, man, Philon's where's Philon? If he's really a first-round NBA guy, where's Philon? In fairness, that was some games Pettiford didn't show up, like in the SEC tournament. More consistency and being that guy you can count on every night to go 15+. I think that's out there for Labaron Philon.
It's a good backcourt with Reitzel back, Houston Millette, Holloway.
Houston Millette gets that red shirt, medical red shirt. We knew that was going to happen, but the paperwork came in yesterday, works out for him.
But you got those four. That's a pretty good backcourt for Alabama. Good shooting
Definitely
backcourt.
shoot it.
Good shooting backcourt for Alabama.
And what did Nate Oats tell us at the Coca-Cola Series?
Best shooting team he's ever had.
Best shooting team he's ever had.
Yep.
So to wrap up the basketball conversation to start with here, not the only one. We'll get back to it later on. There you see the Alabama basketball mood there, Philon, with the big jam box dancing in the locker room there. These two programs, Auburn and Alabama, Final Four, Elite Eight last year. Bama, the Final Four before that. SEC regular season, tournament championships, just reigning on the state here. Business as usual this year for Auburn and Alabama?
I think so, just because, back to, we get into these football discussions. You lose 8 guys on offense. Well, we know who the established coach is, and every single year they have success. You've got that now with Bruce. You got that with Nate. Bruce has been to 2 Final Fours. Nate from a first Final Four to a regional final again last year. You just figure these guys know how to assemble the roster, and they've already got a good, solid core to begin with.
Nate back-to-back Elite Eights. I know Bruce in the Final Four last year, but Nate back-to-back Elite Eights. That's rare company too.
I kind of think that's the preseason expectation now for both these schools, don't you?
Yeah.
As long as Bruce Pearl is the coach at Auburn, and now he's finally gotten that, out. And we said it a lot, and it was a fair criticism outside of the Final Four run. The guy goes out early in the tournament. Well, he's got 2 Final Four runs now, so we can quit saying that. But, I think if I'm an Alabama and Auburn fan, as long as Nate Oats and Bruce Pearl are my coaches, Elite Eight is where I start the year. It's not always going to happen. Nobody makes every Elite Eight. Duke doesn't do that. North Carolina doesn't do that. Tom Izzo doesn't do that. But as a fan, it's going to be my expectation moving forward.
Don't get me wrong, because I don't think this would satisfy either fan base that I'm about to say, and I'm only the co-host on the basketball show with Taylor Corn. But I think Auburn will be perceived in the preseason as at least the Elite Eight roster, and I think Alabama will be perceived in the preseason as at least a Sweet 16 roster. Now, I don't think either fan base will be happy if they only go to the Sweet 16 and the other one to the Elite Eight, but I think that's how the perception will be of these two teams when we tip things off in November, is that Alabama will be slightly behind Auburn on the roster scale. And, where Kentucky factors in, that spent a lot of money. Florida has rebuilt the national championship team down there.
Well, I was going to say,
Arkansas is pretty good.
I assume both are going to be definitely top 15, maybe top 10. But when you start to look just around the SEC, how many teams do you have in the top 10? Florida's going to be back there look, they are, with Condon coming back, that is big, and getting Boogie Flan, but the roster is not going to be as good. But because they're coming off winning a national championship, they're going to be top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. So fun season ahead in basketball. Never thought we'd be here, but Greg Sankey said it yesterday at the SEC meetings. We are the premier basketball league, and he says you walk into that room with the coaches, you look at just the coaching talent in that room, adding Sean Miller at Texas. now. That's
You think he's better?
It is the elite basketball league. And the ACC, by the way, went back from 20 games to 18, both the Big 12 and the ACC in basketball, 18-game schedules now. The ACC released their 18-game schedule yesterday, and they're doing it like the SEC, where you've got one primary rival that you're going to play every year, home and away. Duke and North Carolina is that for the premier schools in the ACC. So everybody's got a partner that they play twice, home and away every year. Then you got one opponent that is home and away that year, and then you got a bunch of one-offs, and the schedule will rotate that way. NC State gets Duke and North Carolina at home. Both of them, they don't have to go play at Duke or North Carolina next year.
Oh, Will Wade getting a break early, huh?
Will Wade.
Yeah.
Loving that schedule.
Yeah,
yesterday.
he is.
A lot of people looked at this.
It's weird, though. NC State not going on the road on Tobacco Road.
Yeah.
to
No, I
either
agree.
one of those schools.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I am sure sports radio and sports media in North Carolina is complaining about, boy, look what we've sacrificed for a bigger league. Why?
Yeah.
Oh, so we could get Miami in our league? What has Miami brought to this league? So now we're going to give up North Carolina State, and Chapel Hill?
We don't get two North Carolina
Yeah.
State, two NC State Duke
I know.
games.
No.
They're just down the street.
Yeah, meanwhile, Will Wade's like, I kind of don't want to go to those places.
Yeah.
But I'm sure
I get 'em at home?
I get them at home and I have to go there.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with the NC State fans. We've had to sacrifice a lot for these bigger conferences. And to this point in the SEC, I can't really put my finger on anything we have 100% sacrificed for the size of the conference. Can you guys? I mean,
No.
what is something is there anything that has bothered you that we've sacrificed?
The biggest complaint I get about the SEC today than it was yesterday is from Auburn fans about Florida.
But that got sacrificed in the 90s.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
In 1992.
Yeah.
When we went to division.
Well, our biggest sacrifice is about to be something we talked about yesterday, because sooner than later, we're not going to have an SEC championship
No,
game.
that's going to be a sacrifice. And I don't know when that happens, Lance, if people are going to bemoan that fact.
Yeah, but that might be a grander scale
Yeah, it
of
might be
just
everybody.
college football in general.
Everybody wipes them out.
It could end up being that Saturday, the SEC Big Ten play-in. Pat Forty with an interesting take on that. We'll get to
I will agree. I'm sorry, Jim. I will agree with Scott. Auburn not playing Florida or LSU is weird. And Alabama lost Mississippi State. I mean, I've not heard a single Alabama fan be like, crap, man. Can't believe we don't play Mississippi State anymore due to expansion.
I don't think Mississippi State fans
No,
care,
I don't
do
think
they?
State fans are like, oh, we don't have to play Alabama every year? Okay.
We'll talk about the SEC football, well, not football meetings, the SEC meetings in Destin, some more football comments coming up in the next segment. We will get to that, Daniel Jeremiah, later on. One more big thing to get to in this opening segment, being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them, our friends at Bojangles, Brown.
That's right. It can be bow time for you over at Bojangles. Listen, you love those dipping sauces, don't you? I absolutely do. From sweet to heat, Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. And nothing pairs better with those sauces than the hand-breaded tenders from Bojangles. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. If you want to add some tang, try barbecue. If you're looking for some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth or creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic bow sauce are ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles and order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's bow time.
And our friends at Hemp Hill Services. We had OKC last night. That's the kind of game I love. I know if you don't have a dog in the fight, you probably hate watching a game like that.
What a terrible series.
Up
The series was
17 in the
awful.
first, held Minnesota to 7. Also had the under last night, so double winner at Lance'sLock.com. We will
Do we
have.
call that a parlay? Did you parlay it?
I did not parlay it.
Oh, okay.
Just straight. But easier to stomach a 1-1 where you split than a 1-1 where you actually lose money. But we did, and we'll have a game, or the Eastern Conference Finals up tonight. Pacers Knicks, seeing if the Pacers can close them out tonight. It is always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trusted name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling. Any of these issues arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090, hard to stop a train, or hemphillservices.com.
By the way, keep an eye on Karl Anthony Towns in that game. Left knee, he is questionable whether or not he'll play tonight. That could be a big mover in that contest as the Pacers try to wrap up that series. Last thing to talk about here, I've got a nice Diet Coke here with the name Morgan on it.
Morgan Wallen?
I think of Morgan Wallen.
Immediately.
New album, fantastic songs on there. Joe Morgan was the second baseman for my youth.
Broadcaster for my youth.
Probably watch Morgan Fairchild on Dynasty.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman coming up here in
Great
just a
actor.
second. Our buddy Jimmy's daughter, Morgan Anthony.
That's right.
A lot of Morgans in my life. Morgan Freeman is one of the voices, along with Jim Nance, Bob Costas, that you'll get at a new museum that's opening in Las Vegas called the Hall of Excellence. It's going to be at the I never know how to say this. They've got one in Miami too.
Fontainebleau?
Yeah, we just call it the Fountain Blue.
The Fountain Blue. The Fountain Blue.
That's what it would be called in Alabaster.
It's in the Fountain Blue,
Yes.
the Fontaine Blue or whatever in Vegas, the Hall of Excellence. This is a Vegas museum that's opening up that is owned and curated by Tom Brady and Jim Gray. Jim Gray and Brady do a lot of business together.
Boy,
apparently.
they've got a deal, huh?
Yeah.
Good for Jim Gray.
Yeah, he's got to put up with Jim Gray.
But in this Hall of Excellence, here's the stuff that'll be on display. All of Tom Brady's Super Bowl rings will be there.
Interesting.
All 7 of his Super Bowl rings will be there.
So there will be security there.
Yeah,
I would
I'd say
imagine. I would imagine. The bat that Jackie Robinson used in his first at bat when he broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball will be at the
Boy, it's
Hall of
hard to
Excellence.
believe that got preserved.
Yep. Prove it.
It's hard,
right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, it's hard to believe that's not
Authenticate.
in Cooperstown.
I would agree, but who had the foresight of saying, it's a pretty big moment. Let's take that bat.
This is probably one of Brady's write-off at some charity dinner he had to go
He
to.
bought it at Cooperstown.
This is amazing. The first pair of Air Jordans worn by Michael Jordan in a game will be on display there.
I was going to say, a museum of excellence. I've got no desire until you start laying out these items that are going to be there.
I'd kind of like to see both those things.
Oh, yeah.
Those Jordans, that was the red and black, the first one.
Oh, yeah. The red, white, and black.
Red,
the
white, and
originals.
black, yeah.
So technically, those weren't even Air Jordans yet. Those were Nike airships. And then-
Airships.
Yep.
Okay.
And
I
then
think
they
sometimes
ended
you
up
know
changing
too
it.
much.
I think they talked about this in the movie Air, did they not?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did a little bit, and then they ended up putting the little Wings logo on there that said Air Jordan, and that
was a
they
good
did
move.
the whole commercial about the shoes being banned from the NBA.
Yeah, had to make sure he was good first.
Yeah, let's see.
The ball putted in on 18. I believe it's the 1999 Masters that Tiger Woods won.
Oh, his first Masters?
The actual
97.
ball.
It's 97, yeah.
97,
Okay.
yeah.
The ball is going to be in there. And it's Hall of Excellence. There's going to be a variety of. It's not just sports.
So Jim Gray will not be in there.
It's not just sports.
He's taking your ticket at the
Like
window.
Clint Eastwood's Oscar from Unforgiven will be in there.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean,
Hall
that's
of
a-
Excellence.
That's a museum I could get behind. So those are the ones, Tyler?
Yep,
Boy,
these are
that's
the
epic
Nike
looking.
airships, the
Yeah.
prototype to the Jordan 1.
I mean, that is an epic look right there. You can just see Michael wearing
Yeah,
those
but that
letters.
wasn't the first Air Jordan that went to market.
Yeah,
No.
in my
Yeah.
script, it's the first Air Jordans that
Yep.
were worn by Michael Jordan in
Yeah.
a game. So I don't know if it was those
Or
or
when they became Air Jordans.
when they actually became Air
I mean,
Jordans.
what do you think those things are worth? 10
No
million?
telling.
I don't know.
No
All
telling.
in the
Probably
Hall
more
of
than that.
Excellence.
Yeah. Boy, I mean, Lance is right. The security at this joint. Like, don't let George Clooney and Matt Damon
It's like
get
the
close.
Louvre, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I there's a lot of things to do in
Has our
Las
man
Vegas.
Daniel Moore got anything going in there?
I bet. I know when I go to Vegas, and I go, it seems like every other year, I'm never looking for things to do. But obviously, that's going to be cheaper to go do that than lose money at the tables. So I that's interesting to me.
I would agree. If I was in Vegas, I would like to go see that.
Yeah, I would
There's
too.
no telling what admission's going to be for this joint.
Yeah, but again, if you can lose $200 in 30 minutes at a blackjack table,
Yeah, at least I
it's
get
gonna
something
be
out of it.
cheaper than that.
That's right. I get something out of it. I get a memory.
When does it open?
God, I should have written that down, LT. I don't know. It feels like to me it's going to open soon, or I wouldn't have made it into my reads. It may have been opening this weekend. I don't know.
Oh.
Hall of Excellence.
I mean, Nick Saban's got to have something there, right? It's a Hall of Excellence.
Oh, one of those hats.
At least a voiceover.
It opens in June. It says it opens in June.
20th.
Opens
June 20th,
in
yeah.
June 20th. So a little under a month away out in Vegas. I look forward to next time I'm out there checking that out. Still to come, SEC meetings in Destin. Also, Forrester's fired up about the trailer for the new EA Sports College Football 25 that has dropped. We'll get to that coming up, maybe in the next segment. We'll make that our Shunnarah football spotlight today. We've got our TNR 40 and 40 countdown. We go to number 29, TCU today. We'll get to that later on. But last night, Brownie was at trivia at Odie's. What was the question, Brownie, last night?
I'm trying to remember which. Okay, the final question, the final Jeopardy question. John F. Kennedy would have been 108 today. He had a bad car ride, didn't make it.
You could probably sum it up a different way than a bad car ride. But
it was a bad one. Which ended first, John F. Kennedy or Alcatraz? The closure of Alcatraz or the death of John F. Kennedy? Which came first?
I think those Morris brothers were escaping in the 60s, and Kennedy assassination was November of 63. I'm going to say Kennedy's brains were all over the upholstery before they shut down Alcatraz.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kennedy's assassination first before Alcatraz was shut down. I felt like I could remember Alcatraz being shut down, so I guess not the way you reacted.
March of 1963, Alcatraz closed. John F. Kennedy murdered November of 1963.
November 22nd.
That's right.
One of the darkest days in American history. Yeah. All right, when we come back, SEC football meetings down in Destin. I said football again. Football news from the SEC meetings. Basketball coaches are there,
I haven't seen a basketball coach say a word. So
you know who drives the bus here.
I'm assuming.
Basketball's doing a pretty darn good job right now. They may not be driving the bus, but they could be paying. Well, they may be driving the bus now. The football's paying for it.
That's right.
And hopefully maybe Nate Oats, Bruce Pearl talking down there today. I don't know. But a lot coming out of Destin. We'll talk about that. We'll show you the trailer and a lot more. But tell us about Odie's from last night.
Odie's Tavern, I assume good crowd. You never know with the weather, though,
I think,
back and forth.
16 teams, Lance. 16 teams.
16 teams. You need to get out, mark that down every single Wednesday. Had multiple people texting me about Odie's team trivia last night. Live music every Friday and Saturday. Great place to watch Eastern Conference Finals tonight. Pacers, Knicks, Game 5. Get into one of those two locations, the original in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Go see Will Haver and that great staff. Enjoy the food from Rodney Davis, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. It's Odie's Tavern.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, welcome back on the next round as we roll on here. We're about to play you the college football EA Sports trailer, but I want to first give a big shout out to one of our great viewers and listeners, Kevin. His wife is leaving Thompson Middle School after 20 years, he writes in. Great job. She's moving to another school. He says a lot of complimentary things about his wife, and then says biggest downside, she won't be passing by Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 every day on the way home to bring me dinner from Champy's. Oh. That is the downside.
That stinks.
Yeah. When weighing new jobs, when you're doing pros and cons.
Yeah. What restaurants do you pass?
Yeah, that's going to go in the con. But congratulations on a great career there. Storm Restoration Roofing's had a great career. Over 20 years of locally owned is what you get from our buddy Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City on Facebook. Listen, more storms in the area today. Mobile's under a tornado watch right now. Another bumpy, stormy day here in the South, and that's why you need a good roofer wherever you're listening to us in America. Having a trustworthy guy and company to take care of your home like your roof is a priority. That's where Greg from Pell City comes into play here in Central Alabama. He's been doing this for over 20 years. He's locally owned, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. He's got family members on the crew there. He and his wife, Andrea, own it and run the company. They'll do full roof replacement, roofing repairs, free inspections. I'll say that again, free inspections. He'll get on that roof and give you a free no-cost roof inspection. 205-542-3531. He's got his builder's license, so he can do repairs on your home as well. Check him out. 205-542-3531. Storm Restoration Roofing, or just look him up on Facebook. It's Greg from Pell City. All right, give me the trailer from EA Sports College Football. Before you play it, I even said this week to my wife, I'm old. I play video games still. I only played this one in Madden, college football sports and Madden. I don't think I'm going to buy the new college football one. It was gone for so long. I used to buy it every year. I'm like, I've gotten where I can play the one that I've got now. There's no reason for me to buy the new one.
You will buy the new one.
Then the trailer comes out.
He got hooked.
And I'm like, God, I'm going to have to buy the new one.
Yeah.
Hit it, Forrester. The trailer is out.
Oh, because it starts at Bryant Denny?
Oh, well, of course it starts at Bryant Denny. But the drone shows off the bus and running down the hill. There was Jordan Hare.
That's Lance's favorite part when they run down the hill.
Does Cal really have a drone show?
Nobody sees it. Nobody sees it, but yes.
Yeah, and coaches are in it now.
Does it hit differently in Berkeley when you're microdosing the shrooms?
Yeah.
Of course, I got the Rose Bowl.
I don't know, Forrester, a lot of new stuff that'll be in there. Tyler, you may know of anybody. I know the trophy case is back. Brandon Marcello has been tweeting this morning. He's excited the trophy case is back.
You got the coaches now.
The coaches are good. To be able to, watch Lance fire Steve Sarkisian for not winning a big game ever.
Boy, I tell you, I can't do one of these little lists without people getting up in arms. My top 5 coaches.
I know.
Yeah. We do need to circle back to that at some point. I saw Double T on there, Texas Tech's
That's
mascot.
That's right.
Do you think it's got sequence diamonds now on its saddle?
It's got that horse lives better than most humans, Lance. With that NIL deal they got out there. There's your boy Arch, LT.
Arch is in the game.
Throwing off his back foot.
Check down to the fullback, it looked like.
Yeah.
Panicked in the shoe.
We got a tough road environment. Camera shaking at Autzen Stadium.
Shake it, Autzen.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Oregon State, they're having to check off at the line.
I thought the Civil War was done right now, though.
Not in this game, Jim.
Yeah, if it's in the game, it's in the game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Big sack.
A wobbly pass. That's interception.
So, look, we got Akron.
Yeah, look,
Akron?
I feel 99.9% you buy this the new version. Do you buy a new iPhone every year?
I don't. The last iPhone I bought was Alabama's. I had to go to Los Angeles to cover the Sweet 16 in the Elite 8, and our mic cables up here only fit the new model iPhone. So I went and bought the iPhone before I boarded the plane.
Mic cable, Lance, probably $10. iPhone.
Well, we didn't have time to get it shipped in.
Yeah,
in order to feed the beast that is Taylor's social media, I needed to be able to have a phone that plugged in with our microphone.
Do you think the majority of people know what model iPhone they have? I would say no.
I have to ask my kids.
Or is this a 30 and under thing?
I
have no idea what I've got.
Is there someone that tells me?
Yeah, you can find it in your settings.
Okay, let's go. Let's do a sponsor here.
Okay.
And while we look it up, tell us about Dr. BLT. And I'm going to look. I don't know. If I had to guess, I think I have the 16. If you had to guess, what do you have?
I think I have the 12.
The 12? When did you get that? 98?
I've had mine a long time.
I was going to say I would guess the 13 for me.
Yeah. Mine does.
I think I traded the 13 in to get the 16.
Yeah. Why would I need a new phone? This one texts fine.
Yeah, that's the
I
thing.
get calls on it, and I can look at TikTok.
But it's got a better camera. That's always their big selling point.
Very few photos.
A better camera.
But do you think everybody, and I know Jeeves and Melton have the Androids, but do you think anyone up here specifically knows what model they have?
Well, I'm guessing right now I've got the 16, but I don't know that to be the case.
No, but I'm talking about between Bo, E.G., Taylor.
Oh, I think Taylor knows what she has.
I know what I've got.
Scott knows what he has. What about you, Tyler?
Samsung model I have.
Samsung?
Okay, what do you have, Forrester?
I've got a 13.
13.
Got a Galaxy S24 Plus.
Okay, tell us about Dr. B.
Is that from Star Wars?
T3hair.net did the non-invasive treatment. I do it 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B and that great staff today, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. T3's got that new test. It's easy, painless, affordable. Takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time on products that aren't working for you while you're losing your hair. Find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
Bram, pretend I'm mentally 28, but not 28 anymore. Where would I find?
This is going to be a good exercise because there's some stuff on here I want you to tell me about. All right, go to settings.
That's going to be fun.
I'm in settings.
You got it? All right, go to general.
Wait, you got to slow down.
Okay, hang on.
Chad says go to settings.
I got it.
Click general and then about.
I got it.
And about.
Okay.
Okay.
We've got to slow down for Lance.
Yeah,
right, you got it, Lance? Settings?
Well, I got to get to settings first. Okay, there we go.
All right.
I got settings.
Now click about.
Bastards. Okay, now what am I doing?
About.
I'll be going to the Apple store today, by the way.
Oh, you have fallen behind, have you?
I have.
Okay, you got it, Lance?
Where's about?
Showing off those Castlevania skills.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Setting general. You missed general. And about. There you go.
Oh, so see, I didn't hit general. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I've got a 13, so I've upgraded.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I was wrong too. You were one to the better. I'm iPhone 15 Pro.
Okay.
Ooh.
The Pro.
Hey, mine's a 13 Pro. If we're being
the Pro. I don't know. I don't think I'm a Pro. I think I'm still amateur on my
Hey,
phone.
mine is an iPhone 11. Is that old? What year is that?
Couldn't tell you.
Let's see.
All right, scroll down, Dunaway.
Okay.
Do you have songs, videos, photos, Apple apps, and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
How many songs you got?
I got 0 songs.
Okay, I got 332.
the 11 came out in 2019.
Okay,
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Shout out LSU. I got 59 songs.
All
I know
right.
I've got more. Is that?
No,
well,
I've
that's
got-
just on your phone. That's
I've
just
got
downloaded.
Spotify. I've got none
Yeah.
downloaded.
So
on my
do you
phone.
use Apple Music? So those are the ones
yes.
those are the ones you've actually downloaded. Otherwise, it's just playing off. How many videos you got, Dunaway?
I've got 1,041 videos.
Wow.
I got 694.
I got 1,429. I lead in videos.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many photos you got?
12,842.
2,450.
I got 11,000 photos. I don't delete photos though, so I just take
I
them.
do them all the time. I go back
see.
and delete them almost daily
Yeah.
at some point. Like I screenshot things and send them to Forrester for the show for us to use on the air. Tyler experienced this when Forrester was out. All times of the day, right, Tyler?
Oh, yeah. It starts late the night before the show and then continues until about 8:30, 8:45.
Yeah. And occasionally Forrester will write back, do you want to use this in the show? And I was like, no, I just wanted you to see that, that Brie chicken fry had a new swimsuit.
Yeah, of course. Oops.
How many apps?
I got 162 apps.
Wow. How do you have any capacity?
You know,
left?
that's the crazy thing, Lance. I've got 332 gig available.
Wow, I've only got 64 gig available. And I've only got 45 apps.
I got 512 gig on my phone. Is that a big phone?
Yeah, that's a pretty big phone.
I have 71 apps, and I use 7 of them. I don't know why I have 71 apps.
I got 45.
I got 140 something. I don't even know what they all are.
I have available 31.52 GBs, gigabytes.
Keith in the chat wants to know how many hidden photos you have.
Yeah, Jim.
Me?
Yeah.
12.
Look at him every day.
Dunaway was the first to tell me about the hidden photo.
I
didn't know it existed. Yeah,
I
do you
remember that. I
night?
remember the moment. Yes, I do remember the moment. We were all together.
I keep 12. Shout out Hot Wife.
I don't know what it would take for me to upgrade, though. Like, I really don't know what Apple would have to do for me to go upgrade that.
An improved camera.
It doesn't impact me one
They'll
bit.
roll out an update, and then your phone won't work.
Well, that'll be what does it. You're right. That'll be the update that ends my phone where they're like, oh, I'm sorry. So now, I'll know this is coming because Lance's will end first since his is an 11.
True.
Yeah.
The update will shut his down, and I'll know I've probably got a good 2 years left on mine.
But will you really know? Because Lance is just saying
That's
my
true.
phone's not
My
working.
phone's down.
It
Yeah,
might
I
be
don't
an
know what
update,
happened.
or
That's true.
It might not be.
You never really know.
Do you think majority of people have hidden photos? I've got 0
Oh,
hidden
I've got
photos.
0.
This is
Jim?
Oh, I've got 12.
No, do you think the majority do, though?
Oh, I don't know.
I got 0 hidden photos.
This is our version of The Last of Us talking about technology like this. This is the end times for us. All right, to the SEC meetings and then the viewing menu from Tyler. We should probably do the viewing menu first, since we just spent 12 minutes on the phone there.
Trying to figure out
Let's
what
go ahead
phone
and
we
do
had.
that. Michelson's viewing menu. We'll keep it non-sports for a second here, and then get to the SEC meetings. Tell us about Michelson.
205-969-8100, the number I called back in 2003. I had the 2200 vision, was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, 12-minute procedure, 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
I got to say this, just heads up. David says Apple will quit supporting iPhone 11 at the end of the year, so you may want to.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll see if I can independently confirm that.
I just
Sorry.
had somebody text me and said they've got a 10.
Oh well,
Yeah.
tell them they're basically off the grid at this point. Sorry, Tyler, go ahead.
You're good. We got a couple of new releases today. First off, in theaters, we got Karate Kid Legends. This is the new movie that brings the sort of 2 branches of the Karate Kid franchise together. It'll have Ralph Macchio and it'll have Jackie Chan. And it'll focus on a new kung fu prodigy who gets trained by both Daniel and Mr. Han.
The Panda.
Huh?
The Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, Kung Fu Panda. No, he's not in this one.
So this looks like
Animated.
something just based on the trailer that they have thrown together. It looks
does.
absolutely awful.
It does, but I think it'll make money. I think it'll.
Oh,
hit
yeah,
like that.
all these Cobra Kai kids are going to go see it.
Yeah. Cobra Kai's done really well, and I think it'll be the kind of movie where you could take your parents to it or your grandparents or your kids or grandkids. It'll just be sort of for all ages. Next up, a horror movie on the total opposite end of the spectrum, Bring Her Back. I got to see this early last week, and I think it's incredible. One of the best horror movies of the year.
Incredible. Wow. I was about to trash Hollywood, and you drop an incredible on me. Very good.
It was disturbing.
Oh.
If you've ever seen the movie Martyrs, this sort of hits sort of the same levels. So if you're just into horror for like the sort of low-budget slashers, stay away from this one because it is it's intense.
So is dismemberment, that kind of stuff? Torture?
I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
That sounds like a yes.
Okay.
I think it's a movie. It's best if you go in blind.
Is Hostel and Saw, is it worse than Hostel and Saw?
I wouldn't say it does those type of things.
Okay.
And then finally, if you're not in the mood for a movie, but the new Karate Kid has you in the mood for some cheesy movies, then you can go to BBC America at 6 p.m. to watch Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone, and then immediately after that is Demolition Man.
So I watched one of the better campy movies of all time last night. Flash Gordon from 1980.
Oh, that's a good
It's so
cheesy
good.
movie.
So well done.
I've never seen it. I don't even know what
I
it
saw
is.
it when I was out at the theater. You know, Queen's got the
Flash.
the title track.
You don't
Yeah.
remember that? Savior of the universe.
There's the only name actor in it is Timothy Dalton, who plays Baron, but Sam Jones plays Flash Gordon, who is a Jets quarterback, and he's got to save the universe.
Yeah.
Which, you know, a Jets
animated?
quarterback can't win a playoff game, but this sumbitch is going to save the universe.
Trust me, if there's one franchise's quarterback I don't want saving the universe, it might be the Jets.
And it's animated?
No.
Well, that is, but the actual movie is not.
Yeah, so the original, I think, Flash Gordon was 1966, and it was based on comic book, but it was supposed to be, you know, over the top, campy, and they really captured it in 1980 with this one.
Yeah. Did you like that Queen song? You're a big Queen fan.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Okay. It's downloaded.
Oh, it's one of the 58.
Well, I had the LP because it had the yellow, the vinyl,
right,
and it had the original Flash Gordon logo on there.
Wow.
I don't think you guys would like the movie, but Jeeves, yes.
I like cheesy. All right, that is Michelson's viewing menu brought to you by our friends at Michelson. To the SEC meetings. We'll talk the Big Ten aspect of that coming up at the top of the hour. But right now, a couple of other things that came out yesterday. One of them was Kirby Smart talking to Ross Dellinger. This doesn't rank high. We talked Pettiford and Philon in the opening segment coming back to play at Auburn and Alabama in basketball. The Philon return was shocking to me. What Kirby Smart told Ross Dellinger wasn't shocking to me because I'd heard this was going on even last summer. And I can't remember if I knew it was going on the summer before that, but I definitely knew it was going on last summer. That there are schools, according to Kirby, he puts number figures on it, that are paying high school recruits to commit to their school. And they pay them monthly while they're committed, while they're playing high school football, while they're committed to our school.
You're talking about like a soft commitment just to say they're committed?
To make the announcement.
Yep.
It's not binding.
We're committed.
Yeah.
They're not binding. It is binding. You got to pay the money back if you sign with someone else.
Yeah, good luck collecting on that, though.
Because Kirby says he knows of schools that are paying up to $20,000 a month to high school verbal commitments who have yet to sign, and it's $20,000 a month from their commitment every month up until signing day, and it's from the collectives that are doing this. Now, Ross says, name the schools, Kirby. Kirby says, well, I'm not going to do that. Well, can you tell me, are they SEC schools? Kirby says, they're not SEC schools.
No. I don't know if I believe that.
Well,
Georgia.
If the best schools in recruiting, as Kirby says, are doing it, the SEC's got to be involved somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, because you're recruiting against the schools that are doing it, so how are you getting these players?
Yeah.
It's what I used to always say. Like, you used to have some fan bases that would recruit in the top 5 or top 10, and they would say, everybody cheats but us. And I'm like, so you are just extraordinary recruiters.
You're the outlier.
You're the outlier. You're the one not paying anybody. Nobody cheats at our school, at Old State U. And I'm like, okay, so you're recruiting with everybody that cheats, but you're not cheating. So this would be that same thing, Dunaway. They're recruiting with all these people that are doing that, but they're not doing that.
Yeah, and I do want to know how you actually get this money back. Like, could we start a company, NIL Repo, where we're going in and we're getting cars?
Hey, guys, I need you to tow an offensive lineman for me.
Mr. Amalavia, we need our money back.
No, I mean, who do we ask that to? Like, I think the head coach probably is above that pay grade.
Well, but I mean,
but I would love to find out true stories, like how you get this money back.
Because if you're the dad, don't you just tell the school, all right, go public with it?
Yeah.
Go tell the public that you were paying my son, a high school football player, to commit to you. You go tell the public.
And you paid him in cash, so there's no paper trail.
That's
Where'd
right.
you get your cash from?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way the player has all the leverage here because the school does not want to go public with that one. Like,
yeah, because I would make sure I was paid in cash, or my kid was.
Yeah, I think this is a cash operation.
Yeah,
I mean, this is all. We act like this didn't happen before NIL. This happened before NIL.
I mean, the great Pony Express, Eric Dickerson.
I mean, this stuff has happened for years. Kirby's not exactly telling us. I mean,
I'm right? Dickerson's Trans Am that he drove
The
around
gold.
wasn't from SMU.
No,
it
it
was
was
not.
not. Yeah.
It was from Texas A&M.
Yeah. But he did not give it back when he went to SMU.
He didn't give it back, and he went to SMU.
Correct.
Now, if I'm one of those A&M guys, I have the car blown up. I make sure he's not in it.
Wow,
but
that
I
is
have
extreme.
it blown up.
That's extreme.
I really do.
I send the offensive lineman out with 5 sledgehammers.
Yeah. I mean, I make sure that thing is not drivable ever again.
Lance doesn't hire a guy to steal it back and sell it on the secondary market. Lance blows it up.
Yeah.
Now, you got to do a better job than 3 billboards when she tried to make sure the police station was empty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it?
No, it was not.
Spoiler alert.
Not good there. And then this breaking news in college football, and we'll get back to the SEC meetings in a second. Doesn't bother me. I don't hate it.
Brown will tell you if you say it doesn't bother you, it does. That's what he told me last week.
No. You said, I don't really have an opinion on this, but it bothers me that I'm like, well, you got an opinion on it. Then.
Yeah.
I know you said I don't really care, but.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't hate it. It doesn't really bother me, but it is weird we're doing it. Great news for Mike Leach fans, writes Brett McMurphy. The College Football Hall of Fame will lower its win percentage mandate in 2027 from having to win 60% of your games to 59.5%, which will make former Mississippi State, Texas Tech, and Washington State head coach Mike Leach eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Should be.
Well, it was just a rather arbitrary number to begin with. Why did we settle for 60%, right?
But we're just kicking the can at 59.5%.
To make Leach eligible.
I don't understand, like, the Hall of Fame that everybody looks to, the most polarizing is Cooperstown, right? There aren't certain numbers you've got to have. There are certain, milestones. We talk about 3,000 hits, 300 wins, 500 home runs.
And those are going down a little bit, but yes.
Yeah, but it's not locked in. Like, I don't know, back to the arbitrary numbers, why you've got to have a certain percentage.
You don't. And, like, I'm getting out. I was more excited about Brady's Hall of Fame because – there's no process. He's just they're buying stuff and putting it in there, or it's being donated. Like, I'm out on Cooperstown right now because Baseball Hall of Fame, if you don't have Clemens and Bonds
A-Rod.
If you don't have Clemens and Bonds, one of the best hitters, one of the best pitchers of all time, that's not a Hall of Fame.
No, it's not.
Pete Rose may go in.
I still would go because I think for our generation it was a bigger deal back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't think this generation really cares about the Hall of Fame.
I'm going to go to a Hall of Fame that doesn't have Rose, Clemens, and Bonds?
No. Well, let me ask you this.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
3 of the greatest players of all time.
Based on some of the guys that are in the College Football Hall of Fame, Howard Schnellenberger, deserving or not?
Maybe because he built the Miami program.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I would say. He did win a national championship, but he was the one that put him on the map. So by that,
and rebuilt the Louisville program and started the Florida Atlantic program.
Yeah, I would say, Brown, to your point, I don't want numbers to decide who's in the Hall of Fame. I want us to sit back and say Howard Schnellenberger is a Hall of Famer,
which is why I'm asking you this
because of his impact on the game.
But because of his record, he never will be.
Right.
He's 158 and 151 lifetime. That's not gonna. Yeah. That's not gonna do it. And I'm with you. I look at everything you just mentioned and said I think Howard Schnellenberger, especially based on some of the coaches that are in there, Schnellenberger belongs.
But like the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they were smart enough. Okay, Joe Namath doesn't have what we consider to be Hall of Fame passing stats, but his impact on the game was so big, he's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Right? I just think Howard Snellenberger should be a Hall of Famer. Mike Leach should be a Hall of Famer.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
not because we're lowering the win percentage by 5%, because of his impact on the game.
But what's even a bigger joke is, certain players, if you're not a first-team All-American quarterback.
That's right.
And I forgot some of the quarterbacks, some amazing quarterbacks are unable to be in the College Hall of Fame.
And it's worse for the quarterbacks because only one of those guys is a first-team All-American on all these All-American teams. And you've got to be a first-team All-American. Now, linebacker, there's a couple offensive linemen, there's 5 of them,
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But Mike Leach, lifetime, took bad jobs and won at all of them. I mean, he had a winning record at Texas Tech, Washington State, and Mississippi State. You tell me that's not a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, jobs that I wouldn't want.
No, I mean, nobody wanted them.
Yep. So that's the developing news there. Brett McMurphy first to report that Mike Leach will be eligible for the Hall of Fame when they lower the win percentage number to get in starting in 2027. When we come back, SEC meetings in Destin, what they're saying about an annual game between the SEC and the Big Ten. Everybody gets a Big Ten game. You want one? You can have one if this goes through. Greg Sankey talks about it on the other side. The show being brought to you by our wonderful friends at Twin Peaks. LT, tell us about Twin Peaks.
Yeah, Twin Peaks, great place to go see Game 5 Eastern Conference Finals tonight. Remember the 29-degree, absolutely freezing cold beer. You're going to absolutely love that. And the countdown to Miss Twin Peaks 2025 is on. Voting for Miss Popular officially live. Head over to 2025 Miss Twin Peaks to learn more about the contest. Cast your 5 votes for your favorite Twin Peak girls. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they've got everything from tequila cocktails, extensive bourbon category, to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over the ice balls, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails, round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about the 29-degree drafts. It's all going on right there at Twin Peaks.
And if you want to continue to enjoy that Twin Peaks scenery, our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, taking care of everything in your health as you move from your 20s to your 30s to your 40s to your 50s and 60s. Early detection, so important, guys. Go to the website, urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com, to find a location near you and what they can do for you. Or call this number, 205-930-0920, 930-0920. Urology Centers of Alabama, prostate health to kidney stones, everything in between, vasectomies. 16 locations, 35 urologists for you. Again, 205-930-0920 or urologycentersalabama.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Back with you on the Next Round. One more hour of college football talk here, then we'll go to the NFL and Daniel Jeremiah. A lot of bourbon talk also in the final hour, and trash as well. Our buddy C. Stu in Gutter Cap, I had a chance to turn a friend of mine on to Gutter Cap, and he just signed up and getting that the gutters done at his house out in Chelsea. You can get your gutters done, improve your home with our friends at Gutter Cap right now, LT.
Yeah, look, a lot of rain. Rain again in this area today. You need to keep the gutters clean and free-flowing. The answer is Gutter Cap. It's a patent aluminum cover. It fits over most existing gutters. You will never, ever have to clean the gutters out again. It will keep everything out except the rainwater. And right now, an incredible deal from our man, Chris Stewart at Gutter Cap. When you call, tell him the Next Round sent you, 205-823-2212. It will come out, give you an absolutely free estimate. It's a dirty, dangerous job. The last thing you want to do is get the ladder out. You get on the roof, you slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. Cap it, don't snap it. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
All right, down in Destin, the SEC meeting's wrapping up today, and Greg Sankey had a chance to hold a second news conference with the media gathered down at the hotel in Destin, and he's asked about Brian Kelly's statement that they want to play Big Ten teams. The discussion is about the SEC and the Big Ten having an annual schedule agreement where each year there'll be one game on everybody's schedule in the SEC with a Big Ten opponent. Alabama this year, of course, playing Wisconsin. Texas, of course, this year playing Ohio State. It's not like these games don't exist. We'll break it down a little bit more here in a second. But here's Sankey talking about Brian Kelly's statement that, yes, we want to play the Big Ten.
Brian Kelly said, we want to play Big Ten teams. He said that the 80s know that, and you know that. Potentially regular season or potentially a play-in cross-conference sort of setup. What do you think the likelihood of that could be, and have you had any communication with the Big Ten about potentially?
Not after Brian's comment. We remember we had a meeting in October, and we talked about scheduling opportunities. So there's three ways it can go. One is you just stay out of it, kind of like we do now. The second is you try to facilitate more. And the third is we agree both to a mandate to play. That third one's incredibly difficult. So I understand the position. That's a long row to hoe to get to the end of that particular row.
Okay, so a mandate would be okay, everybody's going to play a Big Ten team every year.
So we would have, like they do in basketball, the SEC Big Ten Challenge, essentially?
Yeah. And he says that's a long road to hoe.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Doesn't sound good.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't like it, Lance. I mean, I won't.
Yeah, I like the unique.
I like variety.
And as soon as I say this, like, I'd love to see like an Auburn, Nebraska home and home. That's Big Ten.
Yeah, it is, but let it happen organically.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Because what you lose, to your point, Brown, is Georgia's got a lot of games coming up with Clemson.
Yeah.
I would assume Georgia wouldn't keep playing Clemson. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I assume they wouldn't keep playing Clemson every year, and Georgia Tech, and a Big Ten team, and 9 SEC games. Though Shane Beamer did say, he goes, if we go to 9 SEC games, we would still love to play a Big Ten team every year, and we would still play Clemson at the end of the year. So Shane Beamer's on the record saying, I would be in favor of 9 SEC games, a mandated Big Ten game, and us playing Clemson at the end.
That's a brutal schedule for South Carolina. I applaud Beamer for at least saying that.
That's
whether
11.
He truly believes it. Yeah.
Give them the Citadel and call it a day.
I don't even care who you play. You could play Spain Park in that 11th game, and I'm not going to ding you. I mean, that's a heck of a schedule.
But if it's always a Big Ten team, and I don't want to offend anybody here, but a lot of the Big Ten bores me. It bores me. I'm not going to get excited about an SEC team playing Northwestern.
I would agree 100% because you're going to end up getting Vanderbilt Northwestern
Yeah.
and Mississippi State Northwestern.
Yeah.
It's just not going to do a whole. Vandy, our state's playing Arizona State this year. I'd much rather watch that.
That's right. I like Alabama, Florida State. I know it's going to be a better game, I believe, than most people think it's going to be, but it's not Florida State in its heyday. But when this game was lined up, I mean, it was a chance to be 2 top 5, top 10 teams. I mean, it's.
I heard DeBoer on this morning on one of the shows, and he was talking about one of the hosts. Man, I guess this summer is just so hyped, and all you guys can talk about is Florida State. And I was sitting there thinking, I don't think so. Do you guys?
Yeah, I don't.
And Wisconsin, when they scheduled it.
Was it Danny Cannell saying that?
When it was scheduled, I mean,
Wisconsin
was good.
No, you're right.
Florida State was good.
Wisconsin and Florida State, when Alabama added those games, you're like, okay. That's 2 pretty good
They're
opponents.
going to play Florida State and Wisconsin in the same year. So you never know what you're going to get when we schedule this far out. But I like the variety of having, Florida State, Clemson. I know USC's a Big Ten team. So maybe this is the way to go with USC and Oregon. We've always wanted an Alabama-Oregon game. We'd get an Alabama-Oregon game if this happened. Pat Forty asked that question. Forty was asking about a play-in scenario that would replace championship weekend, where you would have 8 teams from the Big Ten and 8 teams from the SEC playing on the championship weekend.
We've got so many ideas
for play-in games.
Right.
Where the 8th place team in the SEC would play the number 1 team in the Big Ten.
So if the SEC goes 8-0, there are no Big Ten teams in the playoffs?
Yeah.
That is
That's not going to happen.
Whose idea was this? It wasn't Forty's idea. He was asking somebody had pitched it to him, right?
It's just ideas that are floating around out there on what it could look like.
Yeah, 0 chance that's happening. 0 chance they're going to roll the dice on even a 6-2 outcome. And I get 2 teams in and the other conference gets 6 in.
Lenore Sellers in South Carolina shocks the world as the 8th place team.
Yeah.
And beats Ohio State and knocks them out of the playoffs.
You'll never see that one.
Oregon, I guess, in this case, last year.
I'm like Lance. I like the autonomy of the schools doing it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean everybody, like Kentucky mails it in. Kentucky does a terrible job of scheduling, an awful job of scheduling.
They probably do the worst job in the SEC.
Yeah. I mean, they get Louisville every year, and they don't do anything else with it. Like, they schedule Eastern Kentucky. They try their best to schedule wins. It's a embarrassing philosophy that Kentucky football has when it comes to scheduling. But I like schools having the autonomy to do that.
Yeah, they make up for it in basketball.
Well,
they do a really good job with that. Look, check their basketball schedule out this year. It's really, really good. All right, so that's from SEC meetings on that Big Ten story. By the way, Eli Drinkwitz says, hey, they won the last 2 national championships. We do want to play Big Ten teams because right now they've won the last 2. We think we're the dominant conference. We'd love to show it. So a lot of SEC Big Ten pride out there in the college football scheduling. We're going to our 40 and 40 team here and our countdown. If you're not familiar with the show, our 40 and 40 is voted on by you guys. It's our preseason ranking. We do 1 team every day. Before we get to that, I want to tell you about our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City. Again, a lot of storms in the area. It's been about the rainiest spring and into post-Memorial Day I remember around here. so your roof is having to work overtime. Get that free no-cost roof inspection right now from Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531. That's his cell number, so you can even text him if you'd like, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. He and his wife own the company. They run the company. It's been locally owned forever. They give you great down-home family pricing. He's got great relationships with the insurance providers, so it's going to help you in the long run as well. Call him at that number or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City there.
Also, can I bring up one Kentucky point, though, because I had to look at this. The next 5 years, they've got 17 non-conference games scheduled. Outside of Louisville, how many Power Fours?
I'd guess 0.
I'm going to say 0.
0.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Tennessee Tech, Youngstown State, South Alabama, Kent State, Eastern Illinois, Ball State, Georgia Southern.
It's embarrassing. I know you and I differ a little bit on Mark Stoops. I'm not saying Mark Stoops is a bad coach, but I do think that's why some of his accomplishment is overrated. He has scheduled a lot of wins at Kentucky.
40 and 40 is brought to you by our friends at Champions Boxing. Tell us about Champions Boxing, LT.
I had the opportunity, again, to go out there yesterday with Jack, located conveniently in Hoover. Just an awesome place to get a different style workout in. Boxing and fitness, competition, all ages starting at 9 years old, 8 USA boxing certified coaches. Not only in boxing, strength and conditioning. Coaches have experience in the amateur, professional, Olympic levels. Yesterday, I just went out there, did an essential workout, did some conditioning, and then watch Jack do a little shadow boxing, hit the heavy bag for a while. Official sports boxing coordinator for the 2025 World Police and Fire Games, held in Birmingham this coming July. No pressure to spar, but if you do, it's 100% safe, controlled, team and family oriented, that helps in teaching discipline and fundamentals. Get and see Jake, Akash, the fine folks right there at Champions Boxing, and make sure you tell them the guys from the next round sent you.
We passed the 30-mile marker, and we go to number 29, a team that recently played for the national championship but fell off the map right after that. Welcome back to the Horned Frogs of TCU, sliding in at number 29. This surprised a lot of people when we started talking about TCU being good again this year. Buying that they're going to be good again this year or not?
I've got them 34th in the 40 that I sent you. I think they're going to be good. Are they going to get the 9 wins they had last year? I don't know. Here's the problem. You got Josh Hoover coming back at quarterback, completed 67% of his passes, almost 4,000 yards. I think he's going to be really efficient. You lose your top 3 wide receivers, so that's going to be a problem. But when you look at this schedule, there is one guaranteed win. There are 11 swing games, and this is going to play out like the NFL, I believe, with the Big 12 as balanced as it is right now. I don't think there's going to be one of these 11 games where the spread will be more than 7 points.
Oh, interesting. So you think they play an NFL-like schedule in that aspect.
You can look at it. I went through it yesterday, and I was like, damn, I mean, it's just going to come down to winning tight games.
Yeah.
Could you make the case that with that said, that maybe the whole league won't have a double-digit favorite in any conference game?
Well,
I mean, who do you think's the best team in the conference, Lance?
I think going into the season, people are going to say Arizona State. I don't necessarily agree with that.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Who's the worst team in the Big 12?
I think going into the season, people are going to say
Colorado.
Nah, some people might.
Kansas?
I just did.
No. I mean,
who is?
Last year was Oklahoma State, who went 0-9, but you got to go back. So coming into last season, guess who was picked 16th? Arizona State. They were coming off of 3-9. So you might be right. There might be no double-digit favorites in this thing.
Which is insanity.
Yeah, it really is.
The only reason I asked the question is when you said that about TCU, I was like, God, I wonder if there's one in the league.
There's a 1-3 start here. There's a 3-1 start here. There might be a 4-0 start here for them. I don't know, but
it's a tough start.
It is a tough start. They're at North Carolina. I don't know what to expect for that Labor Day night game because I have no clue what Bill Belichick's going to do.
I will have TCU more than likely.
Okay.
I would tell you, though, we thought Deion would get it handed to him in that first game.
We did.
Now, Belichick has better credentials than Deion did, but
And TCU was coming off a national championship game, too. I mean, we thought they might be a little bit better. They were 5-7.
Yeah, by the way, the only active Big 12 to play for a national championship right now is TCU.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah. More on that in just a second.
Abilene Christian's a layup. But then, I mean, you're hosting SMU. That's a rivalry game. And you're at Arizona State. I mean, those are both very losable games for them. If that North Carolina game goes the Tar Heels' way, that could be a 1-3 start for them.
Yeah, and I wonder, early on, how many of these, they had the top recruiting class for 2025 in the Big 12. According to a lot of the recruiting experts, the best class in TCU history. So you wonder how many of those guys are instant impact guys. I think Sonny Dykes, I don't know how you guys feel about him. Nice guy, solid coach. But since going 9-0 in 2022, he's 9-9 his last 18 Big 12 conference games.
I'm going to say this about TCU. I think they're more likely to not make a bowl game than they are to win the Big 12 championship.
They're more likely to miss a bowl than win the Big 12.
Look at that schedule.
Yeah,
they're more likely to not make a bowl game than win the Big 12.
I don't necessarily disagree with you.
So 14 years Sonny Dykes has been a head coach. How many double-digit win seasons do you think he's had in 14 years?
I guess one.
I guess you're going to tell me one.
It's actually two. He had one at SMU where they won 10 games, his second to last year. How many losing seasons over 14 years?
I would guess 7 of 14. I guess half.
I was going to go 50%.
Six,
almost half.
So I think he's an okay coach.
Okay, so here's the question. The most unbelievable accomplishment in recent college football history, TCU playing for the national championship.
I think that's it. I've got one that I would consider second. I think some other people might disagree with that. Some people might say Alabama, the way they dominated the 2020 schedule in COVID.
I mean, yeah, that was 10 SEC games plus Notre Dame plus Ohio State. Or was it 11 SEC games? 11 when you count the conference championship, right?
Against a really good Florida team.
Yeah, 11 SEC games plus Ohio State plus Notre Dame. Nobody's ever played a schedule like that.
I do think the most unbelievable accomplishment is TCU not only getting to a college football playoff, but winning a game, playing for the national championship. Number two for me, 2014, first year of the expanded playoff, Ohio State with a third-string quarterback, last team in, winning a national championship. But I'd love to hear some other people's. I mean, do you guys have one that comes to mind?
I mean, it's hard to beat TCU because I still, Lance, look back at that Michigan-TCU outcome, and I'm like, how did that happen? Outside of the fact that what the story later was that who was it that supposedly leaked the game plans, the Michigan game plans? Somebody leaked the Michigan game.
Connor Stallions?
No, it was
No. Somebody did it.
They let TCU know that Connor Stallions
had their
signals.
And TCU changed everything.
They changed their signals and actually knew it, so they were able to use it as decoys. To use an old signal to send the defense thinking it's one thing.
Right. Yeah.
And the offense was able to do something else.
Supposedly they had been tipped off. Yeah. And that's really the only explanation for that game, because when you look back on that game, what Georgia did to TCU, you're like, how did they beat Michigan?
That's right. The team that went on to win the national championship the next year.
Yeah, so I would agree with you. I think that in the last 20, 25 years, TCU actually playing for that national championship might have been the most remarkable accomplishment. I'm trying to think of what is close. What'd you say was the other one?
I said 2014 Ohio State winning a national championship with Cardale Jones. I mean, did you guys ever see that?
I did not. I thought Alabama would run them out of the Superdome, honestly.
It took having a once-in-a-lifetime season from Cam Newton. But what Auburn was before 2010 and what Auburn was after 2010, from them to be as dominant as they were in 2010, that was pretty remarkable. I didn't see it coming.
Well, I think the one-off seasons when you've got Cam Newton in 10, Joe Burrow in 19, but I'll tell you another one, Florida State last year. I know Jordan Travis wasn't there, but when you're talking about they've won 2 of their last 13 games now, and to be as dominant as they were in the regular season.
And they did a lot of work in the portal after that season they got left out. They brought in some quality players.
I remember talking to everybody at SEC Media Days. They're not going to drop off at all. Everybody had Florida State in their top 5, including Nick Saban.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to the point you were making, Auburn did not close the deal, but the 2013 was actually more surprising.
Oh, yeah, year one for Gus?
Because 2012 was one of the worst Auburn football teams we had ever seen. And they come in with a converted defensive back at quarterback, and that guy has a tremendous year, and they have 2 just spectacular plays at the end of the year. And then play for the national championship. Really should have won it.
Yeah, but that was more, and you guys tell me if you disagree, more of a team, and they had more talent.
There's
2010,
no doubt.
It was just like, damn, we have got this guy. He is a freak of nature, and he is taking games over.
And the running back was Trey Mason?
No, the running back was Michael Dyer.
Michael Dyer.
Oh, yeah.
In 13, it was.
13 was Trey Mason.
Yeah. Trey Mason, underrated running back in SEC history.
Oh, he was great.
That was a very difficult offense to stop with Nick Marshall running that zone read and Trey Mason. I mean, I think Alabama's 2020 season, a lot of people discount it because of COVID. I think it's more remarkable because of COVID. Like, Alabama, they had COVID too. right? COVID was at Tuscaloosa too. I mean, they were dealing with the same crap everybody else was dealing with and somehow managed to go undefeated against a full SEC schedule.
But remember, Nick Saban basically convinced the team to buy in.
He did.
And basically having a lockdown.
That's what makes it more remarkable.
For the whole year, that they didn't go out, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. They basically stayed around each other.
And he still missed the Iron Bowl. Yeah. Saban did. So, I mean, even that was really difficult to police.
Yeah. That should be a 30 for 30. By the way. That's
I would agree.
I mean, because you hear things like all the players got together. Let's go on and sort this COVID thing out.
Yeah. Let's have a COVID party.
Well, what is the individual? What's the individual discussion here? We've done all team performances here. What would be an individual accomplishment?
I mean, Joe Burrow's was pretty amazing. Ashton Genty's last year was pretty amazing. Travis Hunter, the amount of plays he played was pretty amazing. I don't know, because I think about Sonny Dykes. I mean, when you've got 16 years and you've only got 2 double-digit win seasons and you play for a national championship at TCU, it's not like he was coaching Tennessee.
Yeah. Am I right that they lost the Big 12 championship game, right?
They did to Kansas State.
Which is even more amazing. They didn't even win their conference championship.
Yeah. Well, we've seen that happen.
Do we have any other suggestions?
People are, Brian says Nick Marshall was a magician running that offense. You do have to give him props on that.
Absolutely. And an Alabama fan would say when you can occasionally have a lineman 5-6 yards downfield and then decide to throw it.
But,
it makes it a little harder to defend.
That's hard for you, doesn't it?
But Marshall, developed more as a quarterback in 2014 as far as throwing the football. If he was a little more accurate in 13, I think they win that game against Florida State.
Jay Bake says it's wild to think the Gus Bus is still operating, but now it's in Tallahassee. Alabama faces that year one.
Yeah, they do. Gus Malzahn at Florida State, if you forgot about that. All right, keep those coming in. We'll circle back, maybe get some more of those off of the feed and get back to that tomorrow. 4 downs today before we
By the way, Indiana would be there from last year to me.
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
We'll get to 4 downs in a second, right after LT tells us about our friends at Hemp Hill Services, and Brown tells us about Bojangles.
Trusted name, Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Make sure your HVAC unit ready to keep up with this changing weather. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, Hemp Hill is there to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train, or hemphillservices.com.
From sweet to heat, Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with those sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. Add some tang with barbecue. If you're looking for some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. And if you're craving smooth and creamy, the house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic Bo sauce ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles and order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time.
First down.
Famous YouTuber Darmon turns 41 today. So what's the strangest YouTube rabbit hole you've ever gone down?
So I've never even heard of the dude. Is that a rabbit hole angle, just him and himself?
Yes, it's a channel that does these very odd, educational sketches,
So heavy air quotes on educational.
They all relate around some dude finding out his girl's cheating on him, but then you know what? She gets karma pays back towards the end of the video. In that, it's all basically supposed to be a lesson. It's very strange. I don't know why, but they blew up.
Have you gotten in it?
I've seen a couple of them, but I don't have enough time to waste like that.
On YouTube, I just enjoy going and watching live performances. When you get a good feed of a live performance of concerts that either artists I've seen or artists I've never seen and want to see. I mean, there's a lot on YouTube, and I like to go watch those. That's it.
Yeah, we did that Friday night. We got into a Def Leppard hole. And we were looking at Def Leppard performances around the world. So that would be the same for me. I did it one night with the Behind the Music, just jumping around behind the musics on YouTube.
And I've told you before in the off season, I don't know if I'll do it this year, but in the past, when I've really missed college football, I'll go back and watch old ABC broadcasts from the 1970s. And
you can do just
80s.
About any game. You can type in, 1983 Oklahoma, Nebraska, and there's a pretty good chance you can find the whole game on there. Yeah. It's pretty remarkable.
I like the ones with the commercials.
Yeah, it is fun to see. Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
Did you?
The new thing here at First Bank of Alabama, the ATM, automatic teller machine, where you can get cash anytime.
Have you seen the guy? He's on TikTok, and I think he's also on YouTube. That you can show him a snapshot of where am I in the world, and he'll tell you where you are. Have you seen that guy?
No, I haven't. I've heard of the game that people play with that, trying to find different locations.
That's impossible.
No, it is 100%. This guy, you'll send him. Pablo Torre says that's how he found.
So, like, if you got behind our Lego chair and sent him a picture in that corner.
I think it's got to be outdoors.
Okay.
Outdoors, like an outdoor shot. Now, and he utilizes Google Earth and all that, and he'll tell you, okay, you're in the Bahamas.
Well, so we need him for people that get, like, abducted. You just shoot him a quick text.
Well, again, I'm just telling you, that's how Pablo Torre found the Airbnb that Jordan Hudson had rented for her and Bill Belichick. He went to that guy, and he said, I know this is a long shot, but here is the Ring doorbell footage. Can you tell me where this is? And the guy sent him the address. And so then Pablo Torre rented the Airbnb, and that's how he met the owners that gave him the interview.
What about, like, cold cases, though? Like, photos of people the last time they were seen.
Yeah. I mean, he could at least find that location. Yeah, this guy's amazing. I don't know his name, but it's pretty remarkable what he does.
Second down.
Noel Gallagher from Oasis turns 58 today. So who's your favorite British musician or band?
I'll go Def Leppard. I was just talking about him.
I'm surprised you didn't say Elton John. You're a big Elton John guy.
I am. I like Elton John a lot. I guess here now, Def Leppard will be in concert here in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Elton John would be there. I like Duran Duran a lot.
I love Oasis. The home run for you right there.
Yeah. I'm told Led Zeppelin has some British ties.
Yeah. That is my favorite of all time, Led Zeppelin.
I don't know how we've ignored them in this conversation.
The Beatles, they got British ties. A lot of people like the Beatles.
I'm not a huge Beatles guy. I take Led Zeppelin over them. I do like Oasis. I'm like Jim. Don't look back in anger, Tyler.
What about you, Jeeves?
That's my favorite one.
That's a great
favorite
song. Great song.
I'd probably go Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Third down.
Carmelo Anthony turns 41 today. So who has the better career? Carmelo Anthony or Anthony Bourdain?
I would say Carmelo Anthony. Bourdain had a really interesting, adventurous career.
Very sad ending. It's
really,
hard
really
to believe
sad
he
ending.
was in that mental space, as much success as he had. It just shows you success alone won't change something like that, will it? I mean, that's a great example of that, isn't it? Carmelo won the one national championship and one NBA title. Is that right?
He
never won an NBA title.
No, he won gold. He won the one at Syracuse. Was the number 3 overall draft pick. He had a he was a great scorer. Just never got over the hump. Those Denver teams were really good. Knicks teams were okay.
Yeah,
he was a really good basketball player.
He was.
Franchises let him down. Never put somebody with him to get him over the top.
I would say that he made $400 million in his
Probably
career.
So.
And he's about to be a part of the ESPN broadcast crew coming up. So he'll make a lot of money as a broadcaster as well.
I think I'd go Melo here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
JFK would have turned 108 years old today. So what's your theory on what happened in Dallas?
I'm probably the most passionate on this panel about this.
Yeah.
I took the boys to Dealey Plaza to show them that there's really no way that Lee Harvey Oswald was probably even involved other than just being a patsy. The longer I have lived, Tyler, and the more I have considered this and thought about this, you have to ask the question, who had the most to gain from the death of John F. Kennedy? And there are a lot of people that would have had a lot to gain from it, but I think the person that would have had the most to gain would be Lyndon B. Johnson. And I am quite convinced that he had a very large role in
and look,
killing John F. Kennedy.
I think he was maybe helping pull the strings. I mean, the American military with the money that we were printing with the Vietnam War.
Yep, the war machine had they had a lot to gain from it. Some would say the Mafia lands had a lot to gain from it. Some would say the communists had a lot to gain from it. There are a lot of people that had a lot to gain from it.
Agencies,
yeah.
He wanted to shut them down.
Yeah, CIA. Well, it's hard for me not to think LBJ. And I know it's a difficult conversation to think a vice president would have a role in taking out a president, but
don't think we're ever going to get the answers here.
I'm afraid our government does some things we don't want to think about when it's dark.
I thought President Trump said we were going to get the answers. He was going to unlock all of those. And
I thought we were going to get the answers with the Tylenol murders, but
that didn't happen at the end of that documentary.
That documentary didn't end the way you wanted it to.
So that's 4 downs today. We had to break here with LT telling us about taking the boys for burgers on Mondays on Memorial Day when Lags was closed. And then Tyler telling us yesterday that Lags is closed every Monday,
Yeah,
but
I know,
open
Tyler.
all the time.
Yes, and I do appreciate that.
Other than Mondays.
We had a couple of friends went by there yesterday. They sent us that receipt. I love now just getting receipts from Lags. It shows us, and we do appreciate this, that you guys are supporting a great client in Lags Eatery, located right there in Avondale, and they are open late all weekend, starting tonight. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, or late night dining till 2 a.m., maybe you work the second or third shift, get in, enjoy the incredible burgers, great sandwiches like that bologna sandwich, the sides from the fries, the tots, really good beer selection. You can sit out on that patio, watch you some NBA action, and enjoy the great food from Lags. Get in today. Go see Eric, Justin. Tell them the next round sent you. Lags Eatery, located between Cahaba and Avondale breweries, right across from Mom's Basement.
And our friends at New Life Art bringing you the greatest works from Daniel A. Moore, including the tribute to Nick Saban, the greatest coach of all time, 6 national championships at Alabama. You can get that painting and all of the Daniel A. Moore works right there at DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR, Rocky Block, Goal Line Stand. Go just check out the whole website and find something you like. Father's Day, perfect gift coming up. DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Braves and Phillies, doubleheader today after the rain out yesterday up in Philadelphia. Apparently it rains there as well. 12:05, 5:45, Zach Wheeler facing the Braves in the first one. He's hard to beat. OKC eliminated Minnesota last night. In their home games in the playoffs, they're 8-1. They only lost by 2 points in the one they lost, plus 231 in the home playoff point differential. That's pretty good. That'll win them an NBA championship. Indiana and the Knicks play tonight. Pacers likely to finish the Knicks off here sooner rather than later. Possibility of the last inside the NBA on TNT tonight. I was texting with our buddy Charles Barkley last night. Very emotional, the whole group is, about the possibility of the last time of saying inside the NBA on TNT happening tonight. Women's College World Series starting today out in Oklahoma City. 5 of the 8 teams in the field are there with the SEC logos on their jerseys. And then this note, Brownie, from Golf Week. Liv is letting all the golfers know that they will not repeat huge upfront payments as it's time to re-sign people, that they're not going to pay huge upfront money anymore, that it'll be more traditional earnings that you'll be playing for, which will likely send what into effect? Them heading back to the PGA Tour.
Yeah, well, I mean, Brooks Koepka is the guy to watch. His contract is up, and there's heavy speculation that he wants to go back to the tour. So we'll see. But I guess that shows us that nobody's money pit is bottomless, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Like, I really didn't think that money could ever run out. Maybe you got a little more of a you got some accountants in there that are going to be a little more conservative than the old bunch.
Or maybe they just realized the Liv does, we're not getting out of it what we thought we would. It has not gotten any foothold in the golf world, really. Does it change your opinion of Saudi Arabia or, the oil people?
Yeah.
That was what everybody said they were going to do. I don't look at they got a golf league. I think differently of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
the sports washing wasn't worth the money that they were paying, so they'll do something else now. The show being brought to you by our friends Alexander Shunnarah. Brownie, tell us about the great trial attorney that is Alexander Shunnarah.
Alexander Shunnarah is a Birmingham guy. Headquartered in Birmingham, more than 150 lawyers they now have, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they've recovered more than $2 billion. One thing that Alexander wanted to make sure of, he wanted to make sure that his firm handled any issue his community faced. Well, they now not only handle any personal injury claim, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
Okay, we will get to NFL conversation with Daniel Jeremiah coming up at the top of the hour, but and we can ask Daniel about Shedeur Sanders in the Browns quarterback room. But Joe Flacco is 40 years old. At OTAs yesterday, he got one rep with the first team. Joe Flacco did.
Kind of a bad sign.
It is.
I said after the draft, I think he's going to be the odd man out.
Shedeur Sanders, 5th-round draft pick, actually had people keeping and tracking throws and graphics from national organizations on social media from an OTA. This put up from our friends at Yahoo Sports. Shedeur Sanders, 7 of 9, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Brown, are they in pads? Nope, it's just a helmet. Are they throwing against a defense? Nope, but just pretty much air.
So this was just like skeleton drills?
7 and 9, 3 touchdowns, no interception.
I don't know how we're saying 3 touchdowns if it's skeleton drills.
Me either. And where you're starting the ball. But anyway, that graphic out there, we'll talk to Daniel Jeremiah. That is everything NFL coming up at the top of the hour.
Who got the most reps? Do you know?
With the ones?
Yeah.
Probably Kenny Pickett.
Probably Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
I did not see who did. It was just a headline that said 1 rep for Joe Flacco.
Well, you know what's going to be interesting is they're going to struggle. It doesn't matter who plays quarterback. And when you look at their first 6 games, or even 7, if you think your Dolphins are going to be good, that game's in Cleveland. But the Bengals at the Ravens, the Packers at Detroit, the Vikings at Pittsburgh, and then the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a brutal. And so I don't know when you make quarterback changes. If you go with Pickett early, he struggles. Do you really want to bring a rookie in to face any of those teams?
We can ask those questions to Daniel Jeremiah at the top of the hour. Our Bo Tender moment of the day brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. Tell us about Bojangles.
It can be bow time for you with Bojangles. From sweet to heat, they've got 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard or add some tang with barbecue. If you're looking for some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth and creamy, the house-made ranch is the way to go. Jalapeno ranch maybe, or the classic Bo sauce. Head to Bojangles. Order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's bow time.
Not all tender moments are good.
Oh, no. Don't be sad.
Oklahoma is SEC Oklahoma now, laying off 5% of its athletic staff because of the looming revenue share that's about to start. Now, this is not going to make headlines, but I think this is going to be reflective at a lot of institutions, even in the SEC, where now we're not talking necessarily coaching staffs or assistants or anything like that. We're talking about athletic staff, people behind the scenes that make these million-dollar companies run. Maybe one less sports information person, maybe one less person who handles financing, maybe one less person that handles travel. That type of stuff is being cut out. And Joe Castiglione, the AD at Oklahoma, says he is adjusting his $2 million a year salary, close to $2 million a year salary as well. So he's taking a little bit of a haircut as well. Doesn't say how much. But that's where we are in college athletics with this rev share coming up. That $22 million, $20.5 million has to come from somewhere. It's being spent already. It's not extra money. So these athletic departments basically are having some layoffs.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of this is NIL, too. Like,
well, I mean,
you get laid off, and then you start hearing about a cornerback that got your salary that's never taken a snap.
Well, I mean, the rev share is coming out of these athletic departments. And as we've said many times on this show, this isn't new money that's going to the players. This money that comes from the TV partners and all of the stuff on that check that the SEC writes and ticket sales and all that is being spent already. Millions on coaches, millions on facilities. And now a big chunk of it has to go to the players. And so people who run these departments are losing their jobs.
Yeah, and I know like Alabama's not rehired some positions. They've saved that way. And he said what? Asked the question in the chat room, do you cut all your compliance departments? I mean, what's compliance anyway? I mean, do you really need those?
Michigan State got a notice of allegations earlier this week.
You better hurry.
I mean, if you want, just for the optics, I mean, you really could have one person in a cubicle that is your compliance director.
Yeah.
You know, pay them $75,000 a year, and if you ever have a problem, you get them to sort it out.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you have a problem you can't sort out on your own, it gets to him. But you know, the story that broke last week was that the NCAA basically is going to surrender compliance to this college football commission or whatever they call it. That's going to have some sort of CEO, commissioner, whatever label you want to give this cat. And I mean, at that point, I don't know how much compliance you do need. I mean, pretty much everything's legal now, isn't it?
Well, no, we're about to put more rules in on NIL, and it's got to be, if it's more than $600, it's going to have to be threaded through that eye of the needle to be endorsed by the committee you're talking about. So there's actually going to be more infractions in the future than we've had the last 2 or 3 years. It's been the Wild West the last 2 or 3
Yeah,
years.
who are
Hell,
the-
we're paying high school players $20,000 a month just to commit to my school.
Do you have an isolated accountant, a CPA that is just working for the university, or is it like KPMG? Do you go, big Fortune 500 companies?
I don't know how every athletic
there's just
department
so
works.
much money coming through. Like if you're in Ohio State, would you not have your own CPA?
I mean, I think in the future, that's who your athletic directors are going to be, right? And I mean, they're going to be business people that basically create a business. I mean, this story, it's kind of boring, so we didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, but I do think it bears watching out as, Kentucky has talked about changing their athletic program to an LLC, basically making their athletic program into a for-profit corporation that can have holdings of land and real estate and other business investments that can produce more income for them. And I think it's interesting if that's where college sports heads, is that you see more and more programs do that. And I think you will, honestly.
That's our Bo Tender moment of the day. Not all tenders are nice, but they are at Bojangles. Go check them out with the great sauces. And the show being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. We're about to talk about some TV times. These aren't exciting. Brown hasn't updated us on the good ones. I've got bad ones. Bad TV times.
Okay.
Coming up from our friends at Michelson.
205-969-8100. That is the number that I called in 2003. Make sure you ask for Amy Toe. The next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama way back in 1995. True pioneer. His daughter, Dr. Jen Michelson, right there on staff as well. Best in the business. For more information, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
I didn't really watch a ton of the college football playoffs on TNT because Auburn was playing somebody good at Legacy Arena that day, so I had to catch both of those games on the radio of the two games that were on TNT during the college football playoffs. They were who were the
Penn State, and I believe Penn State and Boise was the TNT game.
Penn State SMU.
I mean, it's Penn State SMU, excuse
and Clemson, Texas.
Texas, yep.
Were the two TNT,
Okay,
right?
I think that's right.
So both of those games I caught on radio or on my phone, but they used ESPN broadcasters for that, if I remember correctly.
That is correct, yeah.
TNT and HBO Max, sharing the broadcast, will broadcast Big 12 games this year. They've got two more playoff games. Brett McMurphy reporting their first 3 week of games here. Brown, settle down, Brown. Settle down.
So these aren't good games. You're giving me start times for bad games.
Week 0, at least it's 9:30 at night. We always love after dark football.
Late game, week 0.
9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. Hawaii at Arizona.
I mean, that's not a terrible game. I mean, we'll see worse games than that this year. It's not a great game, but we'll see worse ones than that.
Dirty Windshield TNT HBO Max game September 6, 11 a.m., noon Eastern. Kent State at Texas Tech. Wake up, Brown. Wake up.
Again.
September 13th, Texas State at Arizona State, 9:30 after dark, Arizona State.
You know what people will forget about that game? Last year it was in San Marcos on a Thursday night. Arizona State was only a 1-point favorite.
Yep.
They will forget that.
Does that look like value now?
Yeah, it does. I got it. Arizona State is a 1-point favorite.
I show you that as an appetizer. You guys ready to order now, or you want to wait a little bit longer and finish your appetizer?
I like appetizers, but I don't have to. I would say the majority of the time, I don't go with the appetizer.
Do you count salad as an appetizer?
I do not.
Yeah,
oh, really?
See, a salad is, if I'm sitting down to a good meal, I want a salad almost every time.
Yeah, but a salad, when you're talking about a 6-course meal or 4-course meal, salad is its own course.
Do you like a wedge?
I love a wedge.
I do too. I go away from the blue cheese though and go ranch on mine.
Some people try to get a little too fancy with a wedge.
I agree. I just give
what
me
do
the
you
basics.
want on your wedge?
I want crumbled bacon, ranch dressing, and maybe some little cherry tomatoes. That's plenty for me.
I want the blue cheese. I want some maybe some cherry aroma tomatoes cut up.
Some bacon.
A little bit of bacon, not a lot,
Little
but blue
onion.
cheese. Yeah, definitely some red onion on there.
Me too.
Yeah.
The traditional.
Yeah. Good iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
No brown in my lettuce.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Caulks.
And I tell you what I don't like is the spring mix. I hate spring mix salads. It's got all
You
this.
say that a lot. You should get a T-shirt.
Do you
on
like spinach
When's
salads?
the last time I have
I
said
like
that?
spinach salads more than iceberg salads. What about you
Oh,
guys?
no. Iceberg's much better.
Yeah. At our house, we'll mix a little spinach and iceberg together and make a little salad mix.
Yeah,
And
we're in the South, Jeeves. This is the iceberg lettuce is the redneck. That's the way to go.
No spring mix for me. I'm not a
You've
rabbit.
done spring mix at least once in 2025, if not 2 or 3 times.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
I'm
just saying you've said it on the show. So much so that when I think of you every time I'm picking up those bags of salads, anytime I grab spring mix, I always think, Brown would hate this.
Yes.
Brown would hate this.
I don't live in a garden. I don't need to eat stems. I mean, that's what I hate about the spring mix. It's all stems. I don't want to eat a stem.
It's funny when I think of you
gopher.
guys, because I went to get chicken salad at New York Butcher Shop, and I'm walking in New York Butcher Shop, and I think of LT anytime I walk into New York Butcher Shop. Brown several times, but spring mix and Publix, when I'm picking up salad and I grab a spring mix, I always think, God, he hates the spring mix.
I do.
And I walk into New York Butcher, I think of LT. I'm going to start making a list of when I think of you guys and what makes me think of you guys.
Please do.
When do you think of Jeeves?
I never do.
Wow. I'm sorry, Tyler. I think of you often.
Oh, well, thank you.
I think of Forrester like we were.
No, when I see a shitty movie, I do. Like Hard Eyes. the other
It's awful.
No, the other night I was flipping around
That may be true
Netflix,
now.
and Hard Eyes is on Netflix now. And I was like, damn, Jeeves went to see that.
He called it awful.
I may think of you when I drive past the theater. I'm like, I wonder if there's a Tyler in there, somebody that's in there 3 or 4 times.
You drive past the one closest to us. The answer is generally yes.
Yeah, we had we were down one car shortly in my family, so we were having to maneuver around for Carter to while I was on vacation for Carter to get to work and around, and so occasionally I had to drive somebody somewhere, and I thought of Forrester. I was like, Forrester does this without complaining every day, sometimes twice a day with his kids somewhere.
Not this week.
Not this week.
You've complained this week, or you hadn't had to drive this week?
No, I haven't had to drive anybody anywhere this week.
And I had to check myself every time. I was like, Forrester does it without complaint. And here I am just having to drive basically from my house to the church to drop Maggie off. And I'm like, God, why do I have to get up and go do this? And I was like, God, at least I'm not driving 8 hours to take somebody to, a competition and having to watch that for 8 hours. He does it. Great father back there does that. So I think of him often there. Anytime I open social media with Taylor Corn, anytime I don't think I'm dressed properly, I think of EG. If I throw something on, I'm like, this doesn't match.
Cargo shorts or flip flops.
This doesn't match. I'm like, Emily Grace would hate this outfit on today. So when you talk about TV times coming up, Brown, you expect the SEC.
They said they would.
Today, maybe.
Today or tomorrow, I think.
It wraps up.
Yeah, I think today or tomorrow is when the SEC will announce.
And it's the first 3 weeks usually, right?
They said they would announce the entire first 3 weeks today or tomorrow.
Yeah, so we should.
I'll go back and see if I can find the exact day.
So we should get some kick times that haven't already previously been announced.
We just now have the first 3 Fox Big Noon games. Did you have those already?
I know Texas and Ohio State. But I don't know the
That's
rest.
the first one.
We've got that one, so give that to us.
September 6th is Iowa at Iowa State.
Is a big noon kickoff?
The Cyclones, what is that? The Cyhawk Trophy.
See, we said
this. But it's at Iowa State, so yeah, they do have Big 12.
So we said this all along. And again, no offense to you Big Ten people who listen and watch us. There just aren't enough interesting Big Ten teams for me to have 3 networks and your own network to broadcast games in every window. Y'all just don't have enough good teams to make it interesting.
Only the top half of that league.
Well, just wait till week 3.
It gets worse than Iowa State.
Oregon at Northwestern. You at least get to show Oregon if you're Klatt.
That's it, right? That's the only reason you're doing that game.
Do we have the same cool stadium for Northwestern?
I would imagine this is
pop up by the lake.
I would imagine this is at Wrigley, not their temporary shanty by the lake.
Well, when's the new stadium ready?
I don't think it's till next year.
Okay.
The first 3 Big Ten on Big Ten on CBS games. August 30th, these are your 2:30 kicks. Nevada at Penn State. September 6th, Oklahoma State at Oregon. And September 13th, USC at Purdue. So that's your CBS schedule.
Okay, which ones were better?
You got Texas, Ohio State on Fox.
It's going to win it.
That's going to win it. Yeah. But I think your overall schedule is probably better on CBS.
Do you have NBCs?
Not yet.
Yeah, you know why?
They're coming fast and furious right now, though.
Because they've got their head in a garbage can right now for the leftovers. What is left?
What am I showing week 1?
They're over there going. What is left with this Big Ten schedule? All right, Daniel Jeremiah coming up on the other side to talk NFL. I actually threw the one with the sponsor sheet away. Well, you did Michelson, right?
I did.
Let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama again. If you've got problems a lot more severe than throwing away the sheet that tells you what commercial to do next, Urology Centers of Alabama can take care of you. 16 locations, 35 urologists, urologycentersalabama.com. They'll take care of you. To schedule an appointment or get more details, you can call 205-930-0920, 930-0920. Prostate health to kidney stones, everything in between, vasectomies too. Guys, stay on top of your health. Early detection, so important. UrologyCentersAlabama.com, UrologyCentersAlabama.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit UrologyCentersAlabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
No need to play the open, Tyler. Daniel Jeremiah standing by NFL Network. Daniel will understand because he knows Southern football. Our Shunnarah Spotlight today, brought to you by Alexander Shunnarah, is kick times. I'm waiting for the smile in the preview screen from Daniel. We're going to interrupt our interview with Daniel Jeremiah for Alabama and Auburn kick times for the first 3 weeks, brought to you by Alexander Shunnarah.
Yeah, Shunnarah.com. You start with Alexander Shunnarah when you need a trial attorney. Shunnarah.com. More than $2 billion are covered for his clients. Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys, Shunnarah.com. You already knew that Alabama-Florida State is a 2:30 kick. You now know that week 2, Alabama will play ULM at 6:45 on the SEC Network, so a night game at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The following Saturday, 11 a.m. Central kick, either straight out of game day against Wisconsin on ESPN or it'll be on ABC, but 11 a.m. Central for Bryant-Denny Stadium for Alabama and Wisconsin. So not a huge surprise there for that ULM. We just didn't know when Wisconsin would fall.
Daniel standing on the edge of his seat. He wants the Auburn times too.
Auburn, Baylor. You already knew that was the 7 o'clock Friday night game on Fox. Auburn will play Ball State 6:30 on ESPNU. So we've already got week 2 head-to-head, Alabama and Auburn on the TV at the same time.
They don't care. Just get them out of the heat.
And then the South Alabama game, September 13th, also SEC Network, is SEC Network, 11:45 a.m. from Jordan-Hare.
Hot as 3 hells. All right.
It will be, yes.
Speaking of hot, let's talk NFL with Daniel Jeremiah.
All right, move the sticks. Move the sticks on social media. You see him on the NFL Network and ESPN. He is Daniel Jeremiah. What is up, DJ? How are you, my friend?
Oh, doing great, man. I always laugh for these early season games because even though we all get whether it's YouTube TV or however you have you watch TV nowadays, everybody does it differently. But we all get all the same channels. But yet I think fan bases are still conditioned. They're like, we're on SEC Network. Oh, I see how it is.
Must be a crappy game.
Clearly one station different than where you're going to watch it if it was on ESPN.
And YouTube TV makes it dumb for people like me. It's like they know I like Auburn or Alabama football, so as soon as I click my YouTube TV icon,
it pops right up.
It's right there. I have to go way down to watch reruns of Law and Order to find that crowd.
we do know Game 1 NFL, your defending champion Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys Thursday, September 4th, 7:20 on NBC and Peacock. Everybody, I guess, agrees best roster in football is the Philadelphia Eagles. They are the best team in the NFC. But if I was to ask you, DJ, teams 2, 3, and 4 in the NFC right now.
That's a good one. It's hard to not, everybody's going to say Detroit if they can be healthy. Roster-wise, they're in such a really, really good spot. You've got a lot of coaching losses that you have to factor in there, which would concern me a little bit. I think that's a little bit TBD. We'll see what they look like without Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn and company. But, I think that's the obvious one. But I might actually go with the Rams is my number 2 there. They gave them so much in that game. Stafford has the ball in his hands with a chance to knock them out. And I think that young defense is just going to keep getting better and better and better. And I like, they continue to invest in their offense and their offensive line. I'm excited to see what Devontae Adams looks like. Can he find a little bit of a fountain of youth there with Stafford? So I would go Rams 2. I'll go Lions 3. Gosh, who do I want to go next here? San Francisco, I think they're going to bounce back, but I don't know that. I think there might be a little gap there. I guess I probably, and I think Washington, the quarterback's so unbelievable, and they played, I think, over their head last year. I could see them coming back to earth a little bit. Man,
Yeah.
To me, it would be between those two. I'll go Washington. I'll go Washington over San Francisco just because, Jaden Daniels factor.
You have a funny accent. Your Tampa Bay sounded like you said Washington there. That's really weird.
Well, Tampa Bay, the funny thing is I hear from anytime I do any of these lists, which this is like the list time of the year, Jason Light will text me. He'll be like, "Oh, I guess we don't exist."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was just right on par. So I'm sure.
I wish I was as smart as him in the way he runs that organization. And I know you've got great vacations planned and you're a great family guy and all that. But if I could put you for just the entire, from right now OTAs up until kickoff with one franchise, which franchise would you want to spend the summer with? And I know the answer is zero. You got other plans, but would you want to be in Cleveland? Would you want to be in Buffalo? Where would you want to be in this off season right now?
That's a good one. I think Cleveland, because Shedeur has just so dominated the headlines, would probably be the answer, just from, what you want to be where people are going to be talking about something. And I feel like that's what everybody's going to be talking about from now to training camp is going to be Cleveland. And what that looks like there. Selfishly for me, where would I want to be and what would that look like? I actually would say Chicago. To me, that is such a fascinating situation. I know Caleb did not have the year he wanted to have last year, and I know from where the standard was and how he played, it fell short. But I still think I believe in the talent. He's immensely talented, and to see what this offense looks like with Ben Johnson and how that's going to look with their, the new look offensive line they have with that interior three. There's a lot of weapons for him to play with there, including what they did in the draft with Colston Loveland joining the mix there. That, to me, if I could just go out and watch practice every day, I'd be most intrigued to be in Chicago.
Which unit will be more improved, Chicago's offense or Cincinnati's defense, with Al Golden coming in?
Yeah. Well, Cincinnati's defense was so putrid. I think it'll be easier for them to be more improved. So I'll say them. They're going to need some young guys to play well, and it'd be nice to get them signed. First of all, if you could actually get them signed and out on the field would help. But I'll go Cincinnati's defense on that one. I'm excited to see what they look like.
Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network, is on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline, Shunnarah.com. That's Shunnarah.com. DJ spends a little time here in Birmingham. You've seen the billboards, the Shunnarah billboards, right? Driving from the airport. Yeah.
Come on.
Shunnarah.com and at Move the Sticks is where you follow DJ on social media. Week 1 starting quarterback in Pittsburgh is who?
I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers until it's just said, concrete otherwise. It seems like this is happening. I for the life of me don't understand it. I don't understand how it benefits him to not make the decision already, but I just feel like if Pittsburgh thought that this was not happening, that they would have just moved on already. So at least my perception on the outside is that they believe that he's going to be there, and he just at this point in time in his career wants nothing to do with the offseason. So I'm going to say it's Aaron Rodgers until I'm told he's not playing football.
If they move on, though, it's who?
Mason Rudolph.
They don't go get anybody. There are some people. Some Falcons fans are hopeful that they will bail Atlanta out of this Kirk Cousins deal. You don't think they'll do that?
No, and I know this is not how they think in Pittsburgh, and there's so much pride there, and they would never try and go down to go up, and they have all these years in a row without a losing season. But I could make the strong argument that the best thing for them, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, is to take your medicine, so to speak, in a year where we might have a handful of interesting quarterback options in next year's draft that are better than anything they have.
Arch Manning. Will that be your number one? Do you think? When you, I
got it. That's my project. I actually just got I'll tell you the 5 names right now because
okay.
I actually got my assignment for the summer, and I was like, okay, I just want to watch quarterbacks this summer that'll be my project. So it was Arch, it was Lenore Sellers, it was Drew Aller, it was Nussmeier, it was Klubnik. Those are the guys that over the next month I'll dig in and study.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Wow.
I'll be interested to see what you come away with there.
A whole month for 5 guys?
Oh, DJ goes deep.
That could be in an afternoon. This is the summer. This is where tape gets watched with an 8-iron in your left hand and the clicker in your right hand.
Yeah, well, I'll go ahead and tell you that Arch Manning, the overall number 1 pick for a lot of people, you only got
60 plays?
Yeah, you only got a few games you got to watch for him.
Yeah. Hey, DJ, I was going to ask you, when you look at quarterbacks, Arch Manning is a guy that everybody talks about.
Yeah.
And I was gonna, but I was gonna go a different direction. Better second year, Caleb Williams or Drake May. But I want to take it even deeper.
Ooh.
Mike Vrabel, more regular season wins. Vrabel in year 1, New England, or his former boss, Bill Belichick in Chapel Hill, year 1.
Oh wow, that's a good one. truth be told, I don't know a ton about the Carolina roster and what that looks like right now, but I'm going to say that things are not off to a great start there. So I might. I think Vrabel's, he's a good coach. He's going to get them to 7-8 wins. So my guess is that I know the ACC is not very good, but I think there's an adjustment period there. I'll go. I think 7-8 wins in New England's going to be more than they're going to win in Chapel Hill this year.
Yeah, I'm interested since you brought up just the limited plays for Arch Manning. Do they make practice videos available to scouts, to yourself, the schools? Like, can you watch Arch in practice from Texas?
You can if you have connections, if you can get with the people. It's not something they're going to make readily available, but I'll give you an example. I remember Stingley's year. I had reached out to buddies at LSU, and I was able to get all the practice footage from him against, Chase and Jefferson throughout their time at LSU to watch all the one-on-ones because he didn't have, he was hurt, didn't play as well as last year. And so it's like, I need to see more of him. I just want to see more. And so I was able to get my hands on that. And I'm sure if you're in the quarterback market, if you're one of those teams in the quarterback market for next year, you have scouts that are going to be on campus an awful lot there. And if you have a good relationship with anyone on that coaching staff, they'll hook you up and let you watch a lot of Arch Manning practice tape.
Daniel Jeremiah is with us at Move the Sticks on social media is where you follow him. NFL Network's where you see him. He's on the Shunnarah hotline. Jalen Ramsey wants a trade. It looks like the Dolphins are going to do that. How much gas is in that tank? I saw that Lance's Rams, Sean McVay was asked about it. That would be full circle for Ramsey. How much gas is left in that tank for him, you think?
No, I think you can squeeze a little bit more out. I like him, to me, best when they play him kind of in that star role. Let him go in there. I don't necessarily want him playing, man-to-man on the outside and trying to travel around with the top guys in the league down after down after down. But I still think he's really, really instinctive and tough and can make plays. So I actually like him, the way the Rams and used him for a while there when they kicked him inside. I see it with Derwin James. I know, ironically, they're like best friends. But Derwin is better when he's down in there. Even when you're talking about a corner versus a safety, those guys come alive a little bit when you put him in that spot. So that would be the role that would make sense. I'm of the belief that a lot of these moves, that we're going to see some moves here once we get to June. We're going to see a good number of trades. And I always laugh because you see people asked about players and like, hey, we could be interested in that. In my gut, and usually this is pretty accurate and right, these trades for certain players have been done for a very long time. And now we got to pretend like it's not, hey, I don't know, maybe we could be in on that. Well, it's interesting because you guys agreed to that thing at the Combine. You guys just kicked it off till June. But, that's just kind of the way it works.
If I said the best NFC South quarterback situation over the next 5 years is Carolina, does that make sense?
I hope so, to justify my draft grade. That would I would appreciate that if that were the way that went down. It was great. When I left, I was at the stadium when Bryce got benched. They were playing the Chargers and he got pulled. And I remember thinking at that moment, and I talked to some people on the field before the game on the Carolina side of things, and it was as low as you can get. They were down on him, and then to see him come back from that benching and really, play good football, I think that's a good sign of things to come, and really says how just mentally tough he is to be able to come out of that. So I hope that's the case. Baker's played really, really well. Penix is still, I'm still in wait and see mode there. I know the talent's there, but I just haven't seen enough to. I would go Bryce over him just off of what we've seen. So then who else am I missing there? What's the other team? Why am I blanking?
Saints.
The Saints who don't have a quarterback. Arch Manning at the Saints.
Yeah, no kidding. Tyler Shuck. I look, when you say that, my first thought was, gosh, is Bryce really got a chance to be that guy? I think Baker's still young enough. He'd have to be 1, but I'd put Bryce 2. I'd go Penix 3, and I'd go what New Orleans has with Tyler Shuck or whoever they roll out there as 4.
Most of my golfing buddies are Auburn grads, and I told them this summer that there will be a time in the next 2 years in the NFL that NFL people will be like, where did Jarquez Hunter play, and why don't I remember him in college? And I know he did well at Auburn, but I felt like he was underutilized at Auburn. What's he going to be in the NFL? Does he have a chance to be somebody that makes a name for himself at that level?
It's interesting. He was actually, sometimes it's not the big name players that are polarizing. I think people hear the term polarizing and they think, oh, you're talking about some of these, first round guys. He was very polarizing as kind of a mid round down the line guy. I'm pulling up my notes on him right now. Like I talked about, he had vision. He's a good feel as a cutback runner. I thought he was more one speed. He could catch in the pass game. He can catch the ball outside his frame. He protects the ball. He didn't fumble. Like the grade that I gave him, where I had him kind of in that like 6th round range. But ironically, one of the people who pushed back on that when I was making my calls throughout the process was the general manager who ended up selecting him, who might have a little bit of a background in history at that school. So I know he was very well beloved, and they were excited about that pick.
Les Snead with the Auburn Tigers.
Oh, yeah, I know.
We've heard of him.
I saw the draft room excitement.
It's always funny when you're making those calls. Like the calls the week of the draft, a lot of people are like, hey, they're trying to fish around about who you're going to take in the first round. Let me try and get my mock draft right. I'm like, they're not going to tell me that crap. So I like to just kind of talk about some polarizing players. And he was one of the names that came up with Les. And he was like, he went on and gushed about him. So I would just kind of laugh when that happens. And then that's the guy that they ended up taking. So that was a funny one.
All right, the chat room, I have told them you were one of the great quarterbacks in Appalachian State history. They are debating if the helmet behind you is Appalachian State or Wake Forest. I told them it's definitely Appalachian State.
Yeah, come on. We're 2-0 against Wake Forest when I was there. I would never have a Wake Forest helmet on.
Huge rivalry.
Yeah, did you draw that logo?
Did I what now?
I'm kidding. Did you draw the logo on the Appy State helmet?
It's you know what? We like to be
simple.
We like to have a contest. Whoever wins the contest at the local elementary school, we make a helmet of it and we go play some ball.
That's good for the kids.
See, you got to get in on the game. When LT asks a question like that, I usually say, LT, that was a Make-A-Wish for one of the kids.
Right.
And we wore that one uniform on a Saturday.
Hey, and it never makes me feel bad. So.
All right, see him. He's about to evaluate an entire month on 5 quarterbacks. So follow him at Move the Sticks to get the results on that, and see him on the NFL Network.
He'll do other things.
He'll do other
things.
But 5 quarterbacks this month. DJ, thank you for the time. Always good talking with you, buddy.
I appreciate you guys. We'll see you soon.
All right, man. Daniel Jeremiah with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
And this hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Over 10 years in one location. Right there, Sterling and the crew. If you've got a restaurant that's been 10 years, same location, you know it's great food. And that's what you get with that southern menu they have that includes that fried chicken that's brined overnight, cooked to order. And the best tamales you'll ever taste because they use the Mississippi Delta recipe. Right there is the spicy tamales. Just perfectly taste. Great appetizer before you get into the chicken and all the great sides. Right there, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Champy'sChicken.com. Yes.
I've got the first 3 weeks. I mean, do y'all want like the 2:30 and primetime kicks?
Yeah, let's make it our New York Butcher. Our New York Butcher. Layout of kick times. Tell us about New York Butcher, yeah.
Look, a variety of just great food you can get at the New York Butcher Shop. The original location, Cahaba Heights. Newest location, Highway 119 in Greystone. I was in there 2 nights ago getting those fresh-made meatballs with some of that great gravy, the spaghetti and meatballs. You can pick up incredible fillets, the ribs, the chicken. And don't forget about the huge deli sandwiches for lunch or dinner. They've got a fantastic selection of fine wines and dessert. Get in, see Jim, the great staff. Tell them the next round sent you. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
My favorite part of doing this every morning is that 16 years, and sometimes they still forget we're for profit. That occasionally we got to occasionally squeeze in a sponsorship.
This guy never forgets it. I was laughing at you trying to come up with a tie-in to New York Butcher Shop.
Well, I just love doing that. Our New York Butcher look at kick times, the best cut that you'll get when it comes to TV times right here.
So you already knew the first...
Well, you can plan your New York Butcher Shop meal based on
That's right. Great tailgating with our friends in New York
I never
Butcher.
eat steak at lunch. Do you guys ever eat steak at lunch as much as I like it?
I've had steak at breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've had it all 3 meals.
Oh, I never eat it at lunch.
No, I yearn for this is hard to do, I know, a quality, not over-the-top steak and vegetable salad lunch place.
Like a steak Caesar salad or something?
No, I'd like a nice filet.
Okay.
A nice side, a good vegetable.
Right.
And a nice salad that won't cost me $80 for a lunch because I would prefer to eat my steak, my red meat at lunch to where I could work it off with 98 strokes on a golf course in the afternoon.
I think EG actually has a little life hack you should ask her about.
I'm also against taking taking candy into theaters. I think you should have to buy at the concession stand at theaters.
Well, I agree.
And I think doing what EG occasionally does is against my food ethics.
Oh, wow.
My wife and kids are totally...
What does she do? I don't know what
I'm not saying on the air. I'll tell you.
life hack?
Jeeves just brought it up.
I know. We'll say it off the air. I'll tell you what it is.
We don't. If it's a life hack, we don't want to close the loophole for her.
That's exactly right.
So we don't want to alert somebody. Okay. You already knew, perhaps, 11 a.m. Week 1, Syracuse, Tennessee is your ABC game. That is neutral site in Atlanta. Your 2:30 game is Alabama, Florida State that day, and your primetime game on ABC is LSU, Clemson, 6:30. Week 2, your noon ABC game or ESPN is San Jose State at Texas. That's 11 a.m. San Jose State at Texas.
But they're coming down. It's a tough game for Texas coming down off that Ohio State game.
Right.
But it's 6 touchdowns for Arch. I can already see the box score.
They didn't want that short week coming off the Ohio State game.
To play San Jose State. Your 2:30 game that day, ABC, is Ole Miss at Kentucky. A more entertaining game than it should be.
Payback game for Ole Miss, too. That kept them out of the college football playoff last year.
Right now, this is Brown slapping in the face because I took a shot at the Big Ten schedule earlier.
Your prime time that night, 6:30 ABC, Michigan at Oklahoma.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a good game. Now, that's on head-to-head with both Auburn and Alabama. So if you want to watch those games.
By the way, in the new EA Sports college football game coming out, the LED light shows during timeouts and big moments in the games after touchdown in the game this year.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wisconsin at Alabama is your straight out of game day ESPN or ABC kick, 11 a.m. just announced. Your 2:30 game that day, Georgia at Tennessee, ABC 2:30. This is September 13th. Your primetime game, 6:30 that night, is Florida at LSU. It's a good day of football right there. Wisconsin at Alabama, Georgia at Tennessee, Florida at LSU.
Yeah.
You also have Texas A&M at Notre Dame, 6:30 on NBC that night. Your ESPN prime game that night is Arkansas at Ole Miss. Boy, that's a good day of football right there. Your Red River game kicks at 2:30 week 7. Cocktail Party 2:30 week 10. Black Friday, triple header from the SEC on Black Friday.
We knew this.
Did we?
Yeah, this is.
You know all 3 games and kick times, or just all 3 games?
This is Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Georgia Tech.
Yep.
And then the night game was Texas.
Yep, in that order. Okay, yep. I guess I missed that announcement.
I think you were off.
Okay, 11 o'clock, 2:30, 6:30.
Yeah.
For Black Friday.
Yeah.
And then your conference championship game still at 3 o'clock on ABC.
We're still playing the conference championship game?
As of
at
now,
least this year.
They've got an asterisk by it, tentative.
You brought up LED show on this. We've got a drone show.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being in the backseat of a car playing the Mattel electronic
With the red
handheld.
dots?
Yeah, with the red dots.
They didn't have an LED show?
Yeah.
That was circa 1980s LT. Because when I played high school baseball back in the 80s.
They had the baseball game, too. Do you remember the baseball game?
I do.
Because it would circle. If you hit a home run, it would do the lights just doing like that.
Yep.
A little bit different than the technology they got now.
Yep, absolutely. My Tulane Green Wave are 3-0 in my dynasty right now.
Is that who you are? You're John Summerall?
I am. I started a new one, and I'll tell you what I did.
Do you come on our show?
I do. I love the next round in Birmingham. And you can rearrange the conferences.
Tulane back in the SEC?
No, but I did go old school.
Bit of a stretch.
I did go old school. I put the Pac-10 back together, the Southwest Conference back together, the Big 8 back together,
did you?
the ACC, the Big East, the SEC with 10 teams.
Yeah. Who did you kick out of the SEC? Did you go to the 10 that it was?
I put Missouri back in the Big 8. I put South Carolina as an independent.
Oh, wow.
I put
They'll never make
A&M back, Arkansas back in the Southwest. A lot of independents back in the day, by the way.
Oh, I know.
You see what rain has done for you?
Yeah. Can't play off the golf
Can't
course.
play golf.
Can't play golf. All right. When we come back, I'm going to break a rule.
What?
I'm going to have bourbon before noon.
Are we going to sample it?
Yeah,
we're not going to sample it.
Yes, of course. That's why I don't have it here to look at.
Okay.
Wow.
But I guess it's 12:27 on the East Coast.
We've got a master distiller in. They drink bourbon at any hour, any minute of the day. It doesn't matter.
One of our new sponsors coming up on the other side. We'll talk bourbon, what it makes to make a good brown water. When I was in college, early college football days, I would put great Coke products in my bourbon. I no longer do that. I'm to the point I don't even put ice in my bourbon anymore. It's just straight bourbon now. And that leads to people having to hold my hair, throwing up the next day. But we'll talk bourbon on the other side on the show that's brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119. Go by for lunch or dinner. destination lunch location, but also a great place for happy hour, too. Go become the norm of Champy's. Be there at the bar every day at 5 when you end your work, and say hi to our friend Sterling. It's Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
All right, back with you on the Next Round as we get ready to talk about our friends at Company Distilling. I walked back in and I was like, "Ooh,
you smell the bourbon?"
Yeah, the
Smells
studio.
like a warehouse in here.
The studio already has a proof to it going. Introduce us to our guest, LT, and tell us about our friends at Company.
Yeah, so this is Jeff Arnett, master distiller for Company Distilling, former master distiller of Jack Daniels. The great news is Company Distilling is now available at ABC stores throughout the state. But even better news, you can actually meet Jeff yourself. We got 2 opportunities today. Later today, ABC store number 80 right here in Birmingham. And tomorrow in Madison, store number 53. He'll be signing bottles, telling stories, and talking whiskey. For more details, visit companydistilling.com/Alabama. Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly. So I know my buddy Scott Banks is part of Company Distilling, and we're really excited about the new partnership. Let's start with the different variations we've got here.
Okay, so as you were saying, I was the master distiller at Jack Daniel's, and specifically in my last 2 years there, I was doing a lot of wood finishing work. Of all the things that I did, the most successful things would be like the honey, the fire, the cinnamon versions of Jack Daniel's. Those are not the ones that I was the most proud of, honestly.
Right.
You know, you want to work with natural forms of flavor. That would be grains, yeast, water, and then the different woods that you can use. Your maturation barrel is always going to be a white oak, be toasted and charred. But there are a lot of woods that will influence flavor. If you like to cook at home, if you're a home griller, you know if you use hickory wood or use cherry wood or use pecan wood, you'll introduce different flavors than you would if you just use standard oak. So I loved exploring that, and that became a little bit of the inspiration behind when we started company, what we wanted to continue to explore. I'm actually an Alabama graduate, class of 1990, but I'm a native of Tennessee, and one of the things I know about Tennessee is there's more biodiversity of hardwoods there than there is in all of Europe.
Wow.
Just in the Smoky Mountains.
Did you study some of this in
I was an
Tuscaloosa?
engineer. I was an
Okay.
engineer. Actually, this was more like plan C or D for me. So
Okay.
I didn't go to school thinking I'd be a distiller someday, but it just kind of happened.
But you drank a lot in college, right?
It drove me to drink.
Okay.
Alabama did that to me. Using natural forms of flavor. So I had spent a couple of years at Jack Daniel's trying to replace a toasted maple barrel that was on a product called the number 27 Gold. It wasn't a product that was ever really meant to be sold in the U.S. It was just meant for Asia Pacific. But I thought it was one of the best flavored products that we had at Jack Daniel's. So maple is a great flavoring wood. It does not make a good barrel because it tends to bleed out. So the amount of loss, there's a term in the whiskey industry called the angel share. You expect an angel share on an oak barrel to be about 20 to 25% after about 5 years or so. We were seeing that after about 5 months in maple.
Wow.
And we were doing that in a serial fashion. So
it gets absorbed by the wood or it leaks out?
Both.
Both.
And when it comes to the maple, it bled out more than it soaked in. But the flavor that it would impart was, I thought, worth it. But if you lose 25% in the oak, you lose 25% in the maple, you need to find a fix for that because the product becomes pretty expensive. So I do a wheated bourbon for company. That was our flagship product. That's what I poured for you guys. A lot of people like wheated bourbon. I think if there's a pro for it, it's kind of that it's approachable. If there's a con, then maybe it's not as interesting as bourbons that include rye, but I think the maple kind of fixes that for us. I call this approachable complexity. You may not be able to afford to put 50 bottles of bourbon in your cabinet at home, but if you're serving somebody who might be a new drinker or somebody who's a fairly mature drinker, is there one bottle they would both shake their head, nod, and say, this is nice? We're trying to create that in a single bottle.
What is the proof on this?
It's a 90.
Okay.
It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's smooth.
Smells good.
Thank you.
I'm not as refined, like, you'll do Bama and Bourbon in a minute.
Yep.
Promo for that.
So-
Fresh Bama and Bourbon coming out that you'll be on. And Aaron and Lance, they talk about all the stuff. I'm just like, it tastes good.
You know, to me, this is like a caramel. It's a cinnamon toast.
Caramel, yeah.
It's caramel, cinnamon toast, and things of that nature. The thing that I often would tell people, it's not just what you taste, but where you taste it. Sweets on the tip of the tongue,
That is so
sours on
weird.
the sides and underneath, and bitters on the back of your tongue and throat.
Yeah.
This is a very balanced expression. It feels kind of centered on the palate.
What do we have on the nose? Maybe a little vanilla?
Well, yes. Yeah, absolutely. So the time that you spend in a charred oak barrel, often we'll put a vanilla note in it. That's one of the most common things
Really
you'll see from
vanilla,
bourbon.
or you just agree
they're-
with
they're-
him?
No,
right now? Okay.
they're actually are
Okay.
the things that if you were creating vanilla flavoring and aromas, there are things that are extracted from the oak that create that. So that's one of
Okay.
the most common things that you see in bourbon is going to be a toasted oak or excuse me, a vanilla.
What was funny about that is I had just taken it, and as soon as you said caramel, it just immediately appeared on the tip of my tongue. I mean, it was a delayed taste, but I immediately tasted that caramel, which I love. I love caramel.
So what's coming to Tennessee is not just the one that you're tasting right now. That was our flagship product. Like I said, it's a wheated bourbon with a toasted maplewood finish. We also, being in Tennessee, we do a Tennessee whiskey, which is a charcoal mellowed version of bourbon, but I do a toasted applewood on it. It's a slightly lower proof, but to me, it's more of a cinnamon apple. It has a very quick finish on it, so it's as most Tennessee whiskeys are, they're higher in corn and they're lower in rye than the typical bourbon set, which establishes what I call the sweet heat format. But I think the Applewood is really nice for it. And then we also do a 100% rye product for people who like something a little bolder, a little spicier, and we do a cherry wood on it. So trying to match the wood to the grains.
Yeah. My friend Chris Stapleton says that's smooth.
So let me ask you this: unlike
he obviously doesn't use corn.
When you see the a commercial, a fast food commercial, those actors they're taking a bite of the burger and they're spitting it out. I know master distillers never do that. When you guys are sipping, you're actually taking. Do you have a good story of like one that got away from you? Like we were sitting there at maybe it was in Lynchburg, and you guys just started going all day to trying samples, and it maybe got out of whack?
So, yeah, typically you do actually spit it out. So you just kind of rinse and spit it out. If you're going to do a big tasting, a lot of evaluating, once you've taken that first sip, you start to get a little bit of fatigue on the palate. You get carryover and things like that. So you have to have the discipline of spitting it out. If I would sell barrels to customers, you kind of need to go ahead and swallow it, because that is part of getting that finish on it and evaluating that. So when I was at Jack Daniel's, we would have like the state of New Hampshire. They had all state-run stores. So back in 2015, they was like, we want to pick 15 barrels for our state stores in 2015. Then it became 16 barrels in 2016. So by the time 2018, 2019 rolls around, and you're going to go through more barrels than they're actually going to pick, because not every barrel is going to make the cut. It's like you're pulling some forward, you're pushing some back. That was a tough day. I mean, even I feel like I've almost got a bionic liver at this point. But that was a tough call. I was ready to eat after we got out of there. They put us in a van and took us to Miss Mary Bobo's, the place that the family style meal, comfort food that you can get there in Lynchburg. But yeah, that was probably the most challenging day.
Okay, are we gonna? We don't want to give everything away here because we got to save some for the podcast. Again, Bama Bourbon Special Edition, late May. Aaron Suttles will join us for that. We'll talk a little Labaron Philon, some Alabama basketball, some updates on some Alabama football, and of course, Company Distilling. Are we sampling anything else right now?
Well, I didn't have enough cups here.
Yeah.
If somebody's really interested, I've got the Tennessee whiskey right here. If somebody really likes rye, I've got one of those there.
I like the rye.
Okay,
yeah.
That is the bourbon. If you wanted to try
I wanted
it
the wood. Is this the Applewood?
This is the Applewood right here.
Yeah, I want the Applewood.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to try.
So, yeah, that's 86.5 proof. This is 100 proof.
Yep.
So,
this is
kind of give a little bit of a range of proof on those. Typically, people who like rye like a little higher proof.
Yep.
They're usually people who are stepping up off of bourbon.
Yeah, I wasn't. I really, over the last, and we'll get more into this in Bama and Bourbon, but the last couple of years, I've really started to like the ryes.
Yeah. So, cinnamon apple, very forward in the mouth, kind of quick finish.
Yeah.
Mint, licorice. A little bit of dried fruit.
Yeah.
A little salt, pepper note.
But really, I mean, for 100 proof, it doesn't hit.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're someone who's not going to mix it, if you're just going to drop a cube in it or drink neat. As a distiller, I don't want to put out anything that I feel like has to be in a cocktail to be enjoyed. We make great cocktails if you come and visit us at Company Distilling, but if that's all you can do, I feel like you're kind of missing the boat. A well-done whiskey should be something you can pour neat and drink.
But you're one of those that, hey, however you like it, whatever your palate calls for, right?
Yeah.
Like he was, Dunaway was talking about, I used to mix it, but now I just do it neat. But, I mean, whatever you like, right?
Do you frown on me throwing an ice cube in it?
I mean, and to your point, people ask me, which is the best one? And it's kind of like asking somebody if they've got like a favorite child,
Right.
To me, I like the choice. Based on the mood that I'm in and what I'm eating, I might favor one over the other. I feel like the bourbon is just a good center of the road call, but there are times that I prefer the Applewood. There's times that I prefer the rye. But what's nice about it is having choice.
Okay, let's say you get home.
Yeah.
And let's say Alabama has beaten Tennessee for the 15th straight year. Which one do you celebrate with?
Might want to just put them all together.
Yeah.
Do a little suicide there.
We used to do that at the ballpark. Not with bourbon and whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, that's what I used to call it when you put all the
taps
together.
Yeah,
Soft drink taps.
Yeah, every kid at the ballpark.
Absolutely.
We will continue this conversation. Bama and Bourbon, be looking. Check your notifications. That will drop probably in the next 24 hours or so. Jeff Arnett, Master Distiller at Company Distilling, former Master Distiller. Jack Daniel's, if you want to check him out today. ABC store number 80 in Birmingham. Where is that, Banks? Do you know?
Right here on
Put him on the
280,
spot.
on Highway 280.
Oh, it's on 280. So it's right down from us.
Right. No, it's just down here.
Yeah, just down the street.
Okay, so there you go. That is today. Do we have a time on that? 3:30 to 5:30. So
He felt like he had to come up with the correct answer there after you put him on the spot.
Tomorrow, Store 53 in Madison, signing bottles, telling stories, talking whiskey. For more details, companydistilling.com/Alabama, must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly. We appreciate the partnership. Really looking forward to this. And this is good stuff. Cheers.
Cheers.
Appreciate the time today.
Yeah, thank you. It's fantastic. 4:30 to 6. What? What's
Madison?
4:30 to 6?
I'm on Denver time.
Okay, he's on Denver time. Okay.
Yeah, he's on Denver. So 4:30 to 6.
4:30 to 6. Which one? The
I'm
280?
coming from Eastern time, so I don't really know either. That's why
I'm
kinda held up.
I'm going to assume both at 4:30 to 6. Yes.
I promise these are the first drinks we've had today.
Tell them to come at 5 o'clock. I'm there either way.
Yeah, 4:30 to 6 today. ABC store number 80 on Highway 280 in Birmingham. Tomorrow, 4:30 to 6 Central Time. Store 53 in Madison. CompanyDistilling.com/Alabama.
You guys don't know me yet, but I'm already tipsy. So it's time for trash, which gets us away from bourbon talking and probably to somebody who had too much to drink and did something to get into trash. It's brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Every day, hit it, Tyler.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. Pretty soon we're going to be calling this country.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, LT.
We start first. You brought up Karate Kid Legends. It is coming out tonight. Are you going to be there, by the way, Tyler?
I will be there right after the meltdown.
Okay, this has become a new fad, the popcorn bucket. We saw this first with the new Dune. It looks like the Karate Kid Legends. They have got a karate chop wooden board. I guess we've got a picture of this.
Okay. Better than the Dune one. The Dune one was hard to eat out of.
Yeah, you liked it though, didn't you?
So do we
took
have
it home, I think.
Jackie Chan or Ralph Macchio up top of the whatever that is? The gripper cup.
I'm gonna say that's Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, I think it's Ralph Macchio.
Or it's the new kid in the movie.
Could be the new kid.
Now, the new trend in popcorn buckets apparently finding creative ways to open them in order to get popcorn. Recent Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning bucket required a key, like the one at the center of the film, to open it up. Did you get the center bucket?
I did not get that one. There was a Mission Impossible one where you have to use the key they have in the movie to open the bucket, and then they have a Lilo and Stitch one. That's a big stuffed Stitch that also holds popcorn and a drink.
How much is this going to run me?
It's got to be $50. It has to be.
So the bigger ones, like the Lilo and Stitch one, that one's $50. The monkey that we've got in the studio, that was $50, but I think others run for $25 to $35.
Is that a single serve at $50, or it's unlimited while I'm there? It's unlimited for the rest of my life. What do I get for $50?
You get a large popcorn with it, and I think if you buy large popcorns, you can get free refills, or that might just be for members like me.
Well, I mean, it's expensive enough to go to the movies.
Brag.
And then you throw this on top of it.
$50 for popcorn's a lot.
I think I could have watched the first SEC championship game for $50.
You could have. I've still got untorn tickets from that game.
Yeah.
Like my brother and I thought we were going to make a fortune selling tickets on the secondary market outside the stadium. You couldn't give them away for that first Bama Florida game. It was about 3 degrees to begin with. I've still got untorn tickets. So, yeah, you could have watched it for $50.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pasco County deputies asking for the public's help identifying a man accused of stealing a baby alligator from a mini golf course along U.S. Highway 19 early Monday morning. Now, according to the sheriff's office, theft occurred 3:50 a.m. on May 19th. Surveillance footage shows unidentified man using a device to capture a baby alligator, wrapping it in a white cloth and leaving the area on a blue bicycle. These are the moments that is he pissing on the alligator?
No, he's grabbing it with the device. Yeah.
But I pull for animal here.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
Yeah.
Now
first of all, his getaway vehicle is a bicycle.
Yeah. How are we going to put the gator on a bicycle?
You know what this guy doesn't have?
Brain cells.
A job.
Oh.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, at the time of the incident, he was wearing, as you see here, black hat, blue and white plaid long sleeve shirt over the black undershirt, black shorts, black shoes. As of Friday, May 23rd.
Those aren't shorts, LT. We call those jorts.
The gator is still missing and has not been located.
Yeah.
I think the gator was doing better in the enclosure than with this bum. You think he's got the gator to protect his meth?
Gator in the bathtub with the money?
Yeah.
The baby gator? No.
They grow up to be big gators, Jim.
Yeah. This guy doesn't look to be patient, though, Brown.
I don't disagree. I don't think he's got a life plan. I think he's just flying by the moment.
Yeah. By the way, if he goes to prison, he hopes that picture of him wearing those pants doesn't get out.
We stick in Florida.
They'll be using a device to capture him.
32-year-old woman arrested for allegedly refusing to pay her tab at a steakhouse in downtown Ocala, punching an officer in the testicles after she was escorted outside of the restaurant.
Mark's Prime Steakhouse,
On
Lance.
Tuesday, several of the officers responded to Mark's Prime Steakhouse in reference to a woman identified right there as Rachel King, who was refusing to pay her tab according to the arrest report.
I'm going to write down.
She forgot her makeup.
Former co-worker's wife.
This is who this girl looks like?
Yep. I'm going to write like I'm writing 1,000 letters.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long's our old boys
I don't think so.
You don't think
show
so?
me.
Mm-mm.
No?
Not really.
Okay.
Now, one of the officers entered the restaurant, King right here, observed sitting at the bar. The report stated she appeared to be, quote, intoxicated. Manager informed the officer that King had refused to pay her tab, which totaled $99.53. Officer assisted with escorting King out of the steakhouse into the patio area where she sat down in the chair. According to the report, bystander offered to help King by getting the cash she needed to pay for her tab, though she first would need to send the money to a bystander via Venmo. Report stated that King gave the officer permission to assist with sending the money to the bystander. While the officer was attempting to send the money, King's cell phone, she became agitated and stated that the officer should, quote, leave her alone. King then snatched her phone back from the officer before allegedly raising her fist, quote, as far back as she could. Then she punched the officer in the testicles, which caused the officer to feel, quote, extreme pain. We probably didn't need that part of the story, did we?
No, we didn't.
Just assume. Now, she was arrested and posted a $17,500 bond.
I think I would have to tase her at that point, just out of principle.
Yeah, or the old see you next Tuesday punt.
Yeah, there's a local restaurant that has a wall of shame, which you don't see much anymore. You used to see it a lot, like when people would bounce checks.
Right.
They'd have the wall of shame. They'd either put the check up or with the stuff scratched out, or they'd put their photo up.
Our man Fitzy had that at the Chinese restaurant.
If only he had known before he got pulled over in your neighborhood. There was a wall of shame, though, in a local restaurant with photos of people that dined and dashed. And the first time my youngest daughter saw it, she was kind of put out by it. She's like, I think that's so mean, until I explained what they did to earn their spot on the wall of shame. Now she thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
She references it anytime we go to this restaurant. You don't see it much anymore, but there are two in this one restaurant that is they are prominently placed.
Well, when we do our shows once a quarter from the floor of Bama, every now and then you'll see the picture that pops up. This guy's been banned for life.
That's
right.
right.
You see him.
Yeah.
So I met a guy over the weekend that has been banned from life. And
At the Bama?
Yeah.
I just don't know that they can enforce it, honestly.
How can yeah, they can.
They can have you trespassed, can't they?
Well, they can if they recognize you. Do you guys know how many people go into the Bama on a busy night?
It is hard to get banned, though. I think it really is
a
handful.
Fake ID gets you banned instantly for life.
Yeah, this wasn't that. He broke two guys, both orbital bones.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that ought to get you banned for life.
Yeah,
I don't know the whole story there, but yeah, fake ID at the Bama, you are banned for life. Like, I know multiple underage people that have used fake IDs that got the old ban for life.
Do you think we'll ever have face recognition to get into the floor of Bama?
Not the Bama, but some other places.
Yeah, probably not the Bama, but I would agree with you. Probably some places.
By the way, let me just a PSA, and I'm doing the Bama a favor here. They don't want you to get busted with a fake ID.
Oh, no.
They hate doing that.
They don't need your business when you're underage.
They are extremely good at doing it. Like, we've seen the fake IDs that they have taken, thousands upon thousands. They don't miss. So just a PSA if you think about going to the Bama with a fake ID.
Delta flight erupted into chaos on Saturday when two pigeons were discovered in the plane's main cabin. Video of the pandemonium shows are right here.
Oh, wow.
Now,
we're already in the air.
Oh, yeah. First pigeon.
Wow.
Well, this is before the plane departed from Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. According to the Instagram post from Tom Call. Yeah, really his name.
Yeah.
Who was also on the flight. Call said the pilot announced the pigeon sighting and the bird removed right before takeoff. As the flight taxied out to take off, second pigeon emerged, flew down the main aisle of the cabin. Video call posted on Instagram and NBC News. The bird prompted several passengers to scream.
Who the hell is that? Sean Dunston from the Cubs back in the day? What a great play at shortstop.
I mean, it really was.
That line drive snagged from the outfield.
He makes a nice play on the pigeon. That pigeon you see the pigeon try to fly high right there. And
I mean,
boy, he did
just
not miss.
when you don't think there is another thing that can happen on a flight, it happens.
Well, I will tell you, this almost happened to me yesterday, but the bird turned around. But my littlest dog, little Angus, loves to sit outside, but refuses to sit outside by himself. And
make you go out there with him?
If I don't go out there with him, I like to leave the door open.
Are you like two lanes we're in the middle of the third quarter here?
That's exactly what I was doing. I was on the road at BYU. I had a late lead, trying to hold on. Door open, and all of a sudden a bird flies in and goes back out, though, thankfully. But have you ever had a bird get in your house?
I had one last year. I thought I told the story of the tennis ball.
Oh, that's right.
I just gotten in from trivia. And I finally, it took 30 minutes, but the tennis ball, when it finally hit it, it went down, and then I had the raid, and I painted it white.
That's right. You killed the bird.
Threw it out back. What am I supposed to do with it?
Look, you capture it like Sean Dunston.
I left the front door open for 30 minutes. Some bitch wouldn't get out.
Was it the Jock's Christmas party at my house when the bird got in?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I think it was early. When people started arriving, a bird got in my house. And everybody was like, come down here, come down here. I'm like, guys, the bird does not speak English. I don't think that's going to help. But you
that
find
does
yourself,
sound like something you would say.
I mean, the bird does not speak English. But you do find yourself like, come over here,
Yeah.
you know. Like
we had a bat one time when I was little, and my grandmother, who, again, welded ships during World War II, not scared of bats, took a broom to it and eventually connected. Now, she broke some stuff on the way.
Yeah. I was going to say,
she
I
took
bet,
a couple of swings.
I bet the bat bit your grandmother, and it went and got the tetanus shot, right?
Yeah, the bat got the tetanus shot.
The fangs would not have broke her skin.
It's laid out back again.
Woo! Yeah. Got me one there, boys.
It would have broke a tooth, but Nanny eventually hit it with the broom. But she broke a couple of things along the way. Some mason jars. Full of not company distilling stuff.
This is a pretty crazy story G's put together for the last one. Reports seem to indicate the CIA has been using a site dedicated to the Star Wars movie franchise to communicate with the spies who are stationed abroad.
So wait. So using Star Wars to communicate with real spies abroad. Okay.
404 Media reported that Ciro Santilli, amateur security researcher, discovered that the CIA had been using several sites like this in the early 2000s to communicate with informants in other countries. One such site is StarWarsWeb.net. Now, the unassuming site, which is decked out in pictures of R2-D2, C-3PO, a stock image of that boy right there dressed as a Jedi, also includes ads for the latest Star Wars video games and Lego sets. Now, according to reports, Santilli dug through hundreds of domain names, analyzed each of the sites, HTML, and even bots to bypass the Wayback Machine, a massive archive of the internet, to see what the website might have looked like at its launch. He went on to say, quote, simplest way to put it, yes, the CIA absolutely had a Star Wars fan website, secretly embedded communication system. While I can't account for everything included in the research, the findings seem very sound, according to him. Now, this isn't the only fake website launched by the CIA. Other sites included a fan site for the late comedian Johnny Carson. Very odd there. Site about extreme sports and one about Brazilian music.
What if the whole Star Wars genre was created by like the CIA and the FBI?
Well, they need to do more movies in Hollywood.
Like the movies, and keep them going just so they could create ways to get messages back and forth from our undercover folks.
Basically Argo?
Yeah.
Argo. Blank yourself.
I never saw Argo.
You never saw Argo?
Or I'd get this joke.
Oh, Brad, you can't say that. You can't say that with a straight face.
Why? Argo's a really good movie.
Oh, it's a great movie, but you can't call anybody out for not seeing certain
calling
movies.
somebody out, Lance. I just asked he's never seen Argo.
Was it a romantic comedy?
No.
Then
but
I haven't
it's a
seen
fantastic movie. I can't believe you haven't seen it.
There is a female in it. A couple.
Yeah.
Does she ever take her top off?
She does not take her top off.
She does not. It's a love story, though. Argo's a good flick, man. You ought to watch it. I think you'd enjoy it.
How about this?
Jurassic Park's good, too.
It is? I'm going to watch it.
Die Hard.
Yeah, I'll watch both of them one day.
Reported that authorities in China have also found similar websites being used in their country. They've executed more than 24 CIA sources between the years of 2011 and 2012.
They've executed?
Yes. I don't think they're afraid to pull the trigger over there.
Yeah, that gets serious. That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. They're with us every day. We'll have more from the SEC meetings down in Destin as they wrap up today coming up. Brown reliving the kick times for Alabama and Auburn. If you missed that, Brown, those kick times that we gave before Daniel Jeremiah and the networks for the first 3 games for Alabama and Auburn, and any others you may have.
Yeah, so you already knew that Alabama's first game was a 2:30 ABC kick from Florida State. You found out a little bit later on. You have to give me a second, Jim. I didn't know I was going to have to do this again. So give me 2 seconds. 6:45 for ULM on SEC Network. 11 o'clock for Wisconsin at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Either on ABC or ESPN is where you'll find those.
So that's September 13th for Wisconsin, Alabama at 11 a.m. By the time that game ends, give me your guesstimation on the field temperature.
11 o'clock, Alabama, Wisconsin.
By the time the game ends at 2:30.
I'm going to say Wisconsin, they'll melt. It'll still be in the 90s by 2:30.
Oh, yeah.
High 90s.
I did this last year. I'm going to say it again. We're late getting to our hot temperatures.
Okay.
Week 3, we're going to be peak summer still.
The hottest game I think I've ever been to in Bryant-Denny was a Georgia-Alabama game in September. I want to say it was like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. If Wisconsin hasn't started hydrating yet for that game, they're behind.
Yeah, they're going to be a problem.
Baylor and Auburn, 7 o'clock on Fox Friday night. You knew about that one. 6:30 ESPNU Week 2 for Ball State, and same basic situation on the Heat. Jordan-Hare Stadium, 11:45 for South Alabama. That's an SEC Network game.
I wonder if Fox, trying to move Texas-Ohio State off of Saturday at 11 o'clock, if they had gone to Chris Del Conte of Texas and said, let's go prime time on Friday night, would he have said yes?
Instead of Auburn-Baylor?
Yep.
Probably.
Instead of trying to move it to Sunday night.
Yeah, probably, because he probably thinks it's prime time, and it's tougher for people to get there on a Friday, so he may not have as juiced a crowd.
Virtually a standalone game at that point, which would have got huge numbers.
Did you see his response when he was asked about it on Sunday? He's like, oh, I got to go to church on Sunday.
Got to go to church, guys. And they've only got San Jose State.
It's a good line.
Yeah. All right. SEC meetings wrapping up in Destin. More on that tomorrow. Don't forget our new Bama and Bourbon coming out later on today with our friends from Company Distilling. It was good to sample that bourbon. And drivers are standing by to take us home. No, I'm kidding. Barely had a little sip of that. Great stuff there. You'll hear more about them over the next coming weeks. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. In 15 minutes, live on the platform, you'll have the Pennant Grace with E.G. and Ush. They'll be talking about Braves-Phillies day-night doubleheader. Big in the National League East. That's coming up in 15 minutes. This is The Next Round. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.